Hello and welcome to another episode of TUPCast, the Untitled Podcasters podcast, where we talk about films and get heavily off topic while doing so. My name is Andrew. I am one of your hosts today. Alongside me, my two other hosts who are in every episode, Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
And Colby.
Hey, everybody.
And in today's episode, we're going to just kind of catch up on what we've been up to lately and probably talk about McDonald's and Mark Wahlberg. And none of us have seen Blade Runner, but we've seen a couple other things that we'll get into. So, let's get into it.
Just for the record, I am going to watch that movie someday.
Well, I feel like I'm so far into it now that I don't really... I want to, but at the same time, it's a running thing where I don't want to.
But I also think like the original Blade Runner is like a Harrison Ford top 5 movie. They were just like, never gonna watch it. Not gonna happen. Like, it has like a cult following as like an all-time classic, and we're like, it's never gonna happen. And like the second one apparently is pretty good too, and there's like a third one in the works. So maybe when the third one comes out,
I'll have to watch.
We'll revisit it then.
Yeah, we watch 1 and 2.
Just I don't know if I'd call it a disclaimer or before we get too far in and I forget about it. In our last episode, we ended off with Colby and I having an expedition to go pick up movie theater chairs from a movie theater that was closing. And if you haven't seen our vlog we did where we embark on that journey, I highly recommend watching it. It's entertaining, and we go to McDonald's. And it's a successful mission. I don't think any of us are sitting in the chairs we acquired. But mine are in my garage. Eventually, they will be transformed.
It's one of those things that I'm just happy to know that I have it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to use it. I just know that I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might be like a year down the line where I'm like, I'll attach this to some wood.
It might be longer than that. Like, it might be 10 years before I do anything with that chair.
So, mine are in my garage, and I was, like, pretty concerned when I came home with them that, like, my dad was going to, like, well, what is the point of this?
Yeah.
But he was, like, so on board with it. Like, he's, like, really wants us to, like, turn it into something. And I'm
That's
like,
pretty hype.
We just need a Saturday.
You don't have, like, a theater room in your house or, like, a space you could
Closest I have
transform into it?
Closest is the basement I'm in right now, but my sister's boyfriend's staying with us, so there's an air mattress taking up the bulk of my...
Taking up your chair spot.
Yep.
You're a couch.
Anyway.
You're a couch caster.
I am.
We're chair casters.
Yeah,
I'm a couch caster.
Dude, if I can't lay in, I
fall
can't lay in
asleep.
bed or lay on a couch.
Nope.
Unless I'm
only-
in bed.
I only lay down when I can either take a nap or go to sleep.
Yeah,
This
I'm the
was
same
like
way.
my college dorm during COVID.
You just sat, like, lay down everywhere.
I did Zoom classes like this.
Doesn't
Yeah.
hurt your neck.
I had a desk if I needed to like get up and like regain my focus, but
Yeah,
no one
even
really focused.
even
during
in my
that.
dorm room, I like sat at my desk until I was ready to go to bed, and
Yeah.
like lay down.
Yeah, I'll
I
sit
didn't want-
in this chair until 3 in the morning before I get into bed. Like, if I'm not actively going to sleep, I'm not laying down.
Yeah. If I lay down and I'm not super tired, it just makes it way harder to fall asleep.
I agree.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's like psychological, but
Well, I know when I'm like lying on the couch upstairs and I'm just like, I can feel myself fading away, and I'm like, stop, because if you fade away now, you won't do it when you go to bed.
yeah. Well, I do the fade away on the couch, and then I get up and go to bed, and then I can't sleep.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
"This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Like, this shouldn't work this way.
Spoiler alert.
All right,
So-
should we lead with Furiosa, since that's what we saw
This
most
is the most
recently
recent one. Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
together?
Cool.
So,
Disclaimer: me and Andrew have not seen Fury Road. Not that we're actively against not watching it; it just hasn't
No.
happened.
So Furiosa was a first for both of us.
But it's a
from this
prequel, so it's
franchise.
okay.
Yeah.
first Mad Max experience altogether, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And like Mad Max is in it for like 4 seconds, really. He's
I wouldn't
If
have known
that.
that. If you
Literally
hadn't
just
told me that, then
cameo.
I wouldn't have known it.
I would
yeah.
never.
like the opening shot of the original Mad Max is like him in his car, just like hanging out. And the opening shot of Fury Road is just him in his car hanging out. And then there's like when Furiosa, spoilers, is like walking through the desert, like passing out because she just did some things. And like you see a guy in a car in the distance, like looking at her, and like that's supposed to be Mad Max.
Ah.
And the actor who played that quick cameo is like the guy who was the stunt. I believe he was the stunt double for Tom Hardy
That's kind of
in
neat.
Fury Road. So
Cool.
it was technically played by a Mad Max actor.
So is Fury Road the only other one?
Well, Fury Road is so Furiosa. It's hard to explain. It's like a confusing. So, like 30 years ago, George Miller came up with Mad Max,
Okay.
played by Mel Gibson.
All right.
So there's
Oh.
Mad Max, which is the original,
Yeah.
which takes place in like dystopian Australia, but it's not in full chaos yet. Like there's still like
Okay.
stores, and he has a job, and he has his family, and they go on vacation, and like it's still pretty
That
normal.
sounds super weird.
Yeah, it is weird, and I was like excited to watch it because I'd never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing Fury Road and knowing Furiosa was coming out, I'm like, I gotta go back and watch the originals.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this isn't that good. Like, I wasn't thrilled by it. But then the second one's called The Road Warrior, which takes place like presumably years later after the first one. They never really say. But now we're in like full dystopia. Like, he's just driving around in the desert, and there's just like full on psychopaths just like causing chaos. And they're all fighting for gasoline, which is like the gasoline that they all need to get their cars moving. And that is like literally just a movie about he comes across like an oil rig, and he basically makes a deal that he'll do this mission for them if they give him like as much gasoline as he can carry. And he does the mission, and he's like, all right, I'm out of here. But then they become under attack by this like psycho group of, just like road killers basically. And he's like, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help you. And then he helps them. And he drives the oil rig through like basically down Fury Road before Fury Road existed. So that one's pretty cool. I haven't watched the third one, which is Beyond the Thunderdome, something like that. That one's supposed to be really weird and not. I guess Road Warrior is the best of the original, what most people say.
Yeah. So I had known, like, I've heard of Mad Max, like never had seen it or known much about it. Like, I think I had thought it was about racing, and I mean in some instances it involves that. But so like I didn't know if Furiosa was like a revisit to an old franchise like they've been doing in Hollywood now.
No.
Or
yeah,
if it was a continuation of something more recent. So that's why I was curious on that end.
Yeah, it's like so like the new one, Furiosa and Fury Road, Mad Max is Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I don't know, it's like almost like that whole like multiverse where it's almost like a different timeline.
They're just trying to expand the established universe.
Yeah. Because realistically, in the original Mad Max, is like Furiosa as a character should exist, but we don't meet her. But this is a new timeline where it's like the same like location, but a different Max, and we get to know Furiosa basically.
Right.
And it obviously looks a lot better because it's 30 years later.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, I'll go to watch a movie like Top Gun, for example. Like, in like Top Gun Maverick was like, incredible. Like, it's one of the top 10 movies I think that we've just in general for me. And then I go to rewatch Top Gun because everyone says that's had the same effect when it came out, and it's just the film quality, isn't it par like with what it is now? And so for that reason, I consider the movie less. And it's like I don't want to have to judge it based on that, but that's just subconsciously how I view it.
But you're just like, I don't want to say we're spoiled with like the way cinematography has evolved, but it's just
just what we're used to.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different standard now. Nowadays, so
Right.
you're just so used to seeing things in HD quality or 4K
Granted,
or whatever. So when
we
you
only
watch
saw
it and it's not in
yeah,
4K, that's pretty different.
we only saw Top Gun in IMAX, so
That's also
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
that was like a couple of years ago. Because I got a memory because that like after Steve and I saw that the first time, it like just filled me with like new energy and inspiration, and I just gotta find what I wrote because it's very
That's
typical
where
of me.
the Tom love came in.
It is. That's why we obsess over Tom. Yeah.
That was like more of one of those like I really wanted to see it, and I was like, Andrew, let's go to the movies
And I
tonight.
asked if he wanted to
And
see
he was
Downton
like,
Abbey.
all right. And I was like, cool. And we saw it in IMAX, and we were like, holy shit. Like, what was that? Like, was it supposed to be that good? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It was like one of those weird things. It was like a
And that's when
phenomenon.
you guys like invited me like the next week.
Yeah, the next week we were like, want to go see it
we're
again?
like,
Yeah,
we're
let's
going to see
go.
it IMAX again. Let's go. And I was like,
And we
okay.
went to try to go to Wendy's again, but they weren't letting us sit inside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I saw it in theaters 4 times.
Dude, that's crazy.
I think I did
saw
too.
it twice in IMAX and then twice regular. One with Kate,
Yeah.
and I think I went by myself.
Regular must have been pretty poopy.
It really was like so. I wanted to see Furiosa again, but I couldn't get to an IMAX screen,
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't even know if I want to see it regular. Like it's one of those IMAX movies.
Where's the closest IMAX screen to you?
Hookset, which is like southern New Hampshire, but like east, so it's like an hour and 10 minutes.
That is quite a hike to go see an
Yeah.
IMAX movie.
Yeah, it's just like the timing never worked out. Like,
No.
so I was gonna try to go on like a Thursday morning where I could see it at like 11 or 12, and then get back to get her off the bus. But like the time like it wasn't until 1:30, so I couldn't have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it'll be on an IMAX screen in the future, or like I'll probably buy the Blu-ray. It's one of those couple Blu-ray movies a year that I'll probably buy.
I had so after we saw Top Gun Maverick, I put on one of my Snapchat stories. It said, "Just saw Top Gun Maverick. I recommend you all see it. Seriously, 11 out of 10. Even if you don't like Tom Cruise, it's worth seeing." This is where the Andrew comes in. It filled me with so much confidence that I asked the girl I'm talking to see it again with me. Like, I just instinctively texted her, "Let's see how it goes." So this popped up in my memories, and I shared it again. I said, "Update." She never responded.
It's not into airplanes.
No, I guess not. Wouldn't be able to tell you. So yes, I've really, but back to Furiosa, I really liked it. Like, I was very entertained by it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Specifically the chase scene, like, that they had in the desert.
Yeah.
That, like, I didn't know who I was supposed to be rooting for. So I think maybe for that reason I was enjoying it more.
Yeah.
But so that was very epic. I liked that very much.
I think that was my favorite scene in the movie too. Was that one, like epic chase scene, like in the dead middle of the movie.
And then Anya Taylor-Joy doesn't even show up until.
That's what I was super confused about that because I remember just seeing her in all the promotional stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
and like all the trailers and everything, and then the movie starts, and for 45 minutes, it's just this random kid, and I'm like,
Oh, this is a Zendaya and Dune
I was like, I could have
situation here.
swore she was in this movie.
Right.
Well, that's
Chris
like,
Hemsworth,
oh, he was good.
He killed it.
incredible.
So I've listened to a couple other podcasts about movies, and like a couple of them have been so high on Hemsworth, and then there was a couple that were like, "What is he doing? Like,
I
why
thought
is
he
he?"
was great.
I thought he was fantastic, but I kind of understood a couple of their points where like, so in the Mad Max movies, like Max doesn't say much. He kind of like grunts and like makes faces and like uses his words sparingly.
Okay.
And like the fact that Chris Hemsworth is like so wordy and mouthy, they were like he just doesn't fit in the universe, which I can understand. But like he was just like chewing the scenery in every sequence. You were never
maybe it
unhappy to see him.
Maybe it helps that I've never seen the other ones because I thought he was like the
Same.
best part of that movie.
Oh yeah, I thought
Like-
so too.
For me, like, going into it, I see Chris Hemsworth, and I'm like, oh, cool, Thor's in this.
Yeah,
But, like, he wasn't Thor. He was like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Like that says a lot when like you vision an actor as a character and he's able to separate himself from that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of like when those like serious ish actors kind of get like almost like a not a like goofy, but like kind of just like a
No,
crazy.
but like
it was
it
kind
looked
of
like he was having fun with the role.
when Jason Momoa was in Fast X. That movie was awful, but he was the best part of that movie. He was just he was just unhinged. They just kind of were like, oh, be kind of wacky, and he just did his own thing, and he was definitely the best part of that movie.
For whatever, Fast X Part 2 this year.
Oh, dude, hell yeah!
And then once we get Fast X Part 3, I can actually watch the first one.
No,
Yeah,
you can't go because then they're gonna be like, also, we're gonna make a Fast 15.
Yeah,
I know.
You're gonna be like,
they're at 13 or 12 right now. Why stop here?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Next up, they're gonna go to Jurassic Park.
Dude, I'm telling you, I want a Fast and Furious Jurassic crossover. They're both owned by Universal. It could happen.
Mm-hmm.
that'd be super weird.
It
So
would.
weird.
I mean, but would it be any weirder than them driving cars into space?
No,
Yeah, probably not.
I
No.
like saw a report or something that they're hoping to make the next Fast and the Furious movie like grounded, like almost back to basics. And I'm like, it's
You
too
can't.
late for that. Like,
any hope of that is out the window.
can you
Yeah.
imagine making like a Fast and the Furious movie now where they just like race down the street in Los Angeles? Like, you can't do that.
The last realistic one was back in like 2002, so I think we're a little past that.
Like, what do you?
I wouldn't
can't-
know because I haven't seen any of them.
They're so far gone. They're like further gone than like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I can't even differentiate them.
Yeah.
Like, I know the first one, the original one, and like Too Fast, Too Furious, and a little of Tokyo Drift I would recognize, and then everything else just drifts into each other.
Which is all
Are
the
we
same.
supposed to get
It's crazy.
Dead Reckoning Part 2 this year?
I think it got pushed for some reason.
Okay.
We might though.
I hope
I
that
don't-
this time we don't get to see the whole friggin' stunt before the movie
Yeah.
comes out.
I know.
Well, apparently the next one is a lot of water-based stunts.
Oh.
Interesting.
So they're going to be like crazy water-based stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to see any of it.
No, like there's no need. Although, I mean, that 10-minute documentary about the jump would have been so much cooler after the movie came out.
After, yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
see
Like
3 months
during the
before movie
credits.
comes out.
Yeah, they like dropped it and they're like, look at what we're going to do. And then the build-up in the movie to him actually doing it took way too long. Because he's like,
we all knew it
do
was
I
coming.
jump off of this?
But
This
like,
is too tall. This road's broken.
And it's
I
like-
can't go this way.
He did it, and I'm like, I've already seen this like 19 times.
Yeah.
right.
It was cool, but yeah, like they like blew their load way too early.
Oh,
Mhm.
Tom.
That Tom guy.
So I guess like back onto like things we've watched in the past since our last episode. Me and Steve saw Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
Steve, that was your second time seeing it, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that, honestly.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That's how long it's been.
Oh, that was the Snickers incident of 2024.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Um,
Yeah, I was there after that. I saw the aftermath of that.
I don't know why I did. Oh,
for context, he put a Snickers in his
in my, like-
his sweatshirt.
my like hoodie pouch, and I forgot about it. And like I get hot during movies, even if it's like cold in the theater. I just like heat up. And by the time we got out of there, it was just like toothpaste in a tube, like just
It was
liquid.
Like, it was like mush.
With like you could feel all the individual nuts, like they were no longer. It was crazy. I had to throw it away. Like
Oh.
It was
insane.
unsalvageable.
And I wasn't like sweaty. My body just runs hot. It just like cooked it for 2 hours.
Yeah, it was like you had like a pressure cooker or something, or
Yeah.
a crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Frozen Empire. Like it should have been cold for the movie.
Yeah, you know, you got a point.
So I thought the movie was pretty meh. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
5th Ghostbusters movie at this point. There's only so much you can do with that. I mean, the villain
Yeah.
was neat-ish. I don't know, but like Steve, you saw it twice. What did you think it was any better the second time?
No. And I like the villain was vanquished too easily,
It
for
was
like a
so easy.
Ghostbusters movie. Like, oh, we just have to do the thing that we've done for 5 movies, except for like a little longer, and it'll go this way. And like
Yeah, because I
you
feel
could
like
feel all the beats. You could feel when
every
Bill Murray was
Ghostbusters
going to show
movie,
up.
the villain rolls up, and then they're like, "Oh, let's just shoot the proton packs." Like, there's like no other way to defeat a Ghostbuster villain.
No.
So like, it's only so entertaining for so long.
Yeah. I mean, it's never been my favorite franchise to begin with. Like,
No,
it's
not
cool.
either.
And like the fact that they just like throw Slimer in an attic and then he like shows up to vanquish like that weird like invisible spirit thing that annoys them. You're like, "Oh, cool Slimer." Like, I don't know. And I love Paul Rudd, but like I don't think he's right for the Ghostbusters universe.
I thought
it's
he was
just, like,
almost annoying.
Yeah, which is weird cuz like he's great as like Ant-Man and everything he's in.
Yeah, it's tough to find something that doesn't work for him. I was telling Colby before you logged on earlier today. We went to Borderland State Park, which is just like a little castle area near where we live. Um, and they were doing like tours inside the castle, and the guy told us that that castle was used in for filming in the Ghostbusters with the whole female cast.
Oh, I've
Which
never
is kind
seen
of
that
interesting.
one.
I haven't seen. I saw the
Nope.
original, the first two.
Also, not
But
Chris Hemsworth's best work.
No.
no, no.
Have you ever...
Um,
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say he also said that Knives Out, Shutter Island, and a film called Mermaids, which I had never. He said it was an older film, had also been filmed in that castle as well. It was very like Downton Abbey kind of place.
Have you ever seen Shutter Island?
I haven't, but I want to because of how like locally a lot of it was filmed in regards to where we are.
So if you go to... So Shutter Island like is supposed to be an island off the coast of Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and it's essentially like Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Like it's just like an island for the criminally insane.
Mm-hmm.
They all like live out there. But when you go to the island, it's just a bunch of like this red brick building that kind of is just terrifying because it's just these creepy red brick buildings.
So,
But
go ahead.
they use... Sorry, I'll finish because I'll forget. And they filmed a lot of that at the old Medfield State Mental Hospital in Medfield, Mass. And like all those red buildings are still standing, and you can like walk around the grounds, and it's so creepy. Like if you've seen the movie and you walk around and look at the buildings, because like all you can picture are like all the crazy people you see in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get over there, I would walk. Like it's a nice like hike/walk.
So, I'll add that to it because I like going on little nature walks or just area walks like that. But another part of that film was filmed in the Taunton State Hospital.
Yeah.
Which was an actual like insane, not an insane asylum, but for mentally unstable people. And that kind of ties into the Bridgewater Triangle, which I think I've discussed maybe like very lightly on here before. But just the quick rundown of it is an area of southeastern Massachusetts where a lot of paranormal, supernatural things have happened. And the cliff that, when we went to see Furiosa, beforehand, I tried to take these guys to see a haunted cliff, which is referred to as a suicide ledge, but we got lost in the woods and couldn't find
Didn't
it.
quite make it.
If we had made it to the cliff, I would have told you guys then, and I may have told you, and it's just slipping my mind now. But that ledge is a ledge because it used to be like a whole quarry area, and they took a lot of the granite from the rock to make the Taunton Hospital, which became like an insane asylum, which kind of carries along with the superficial ideas.
That's kind of spooky.
Yeah,
Those rocks. I took some of those rocks.
we got so many rocks in the triangle. We got the Sonnet Ledge, we got Anawan Rock, we got Dighton Rock, we got Profile Rock.
It's not a boulder.
Rocks.
It's
Crocodile
a rock.
Rock.
La la la. I should do that at karaoke next time.
Have either of you guys seen If?
I did. That was
No,
one of the
I
other
didn't.
movies I saw.
Uh,
I thought it was good. I was a little confused though at a couple parts of during the movie though.
The first like 30 minutes, you're like, what the hell are we watching? Like,
Yeah.
there's no good setup. Like, there's just
No.
like, okay, there's this guy. He's like sick in the hospital, but you don't really know why. And like, why does she live there? Is she supposed to live there? Like, who is that lady? Why is she always falling asleep? Is she
Well,
just allowed to like wander around New York at any time she wants with
The
no
hospital thing-
supervision? Like,
I wasn't sure if the dad was sick or if he was like mentally unstable.
yeah, they didn't clarify any of that.
He like danced with his like IV stand, which was kind of weird. It almost made him seem like he was crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was very unclear, and
Haven't
they
seen it.
never really cleared it up.
No. They said he had like a heart condition. But like, did he? Or like,
I was like,
was
yeah, he
he-
was
Yeah.
running around.
and like, if he had a heart condition, but he was never wearing like, he was never like sick in bed. He was like happy
No.
go lucky. Like, wouldn't you just live at home until you like needed your surgery? Like, there was a lot of weird stuff in the beginning. It got better as it went along because you went into like imagination of it all when you met Ryan Reynolds, and like you're starting. There's like little pieces that you have to piece together to figure out the story. Like, I kept being like, "Oh, I bet you that's this." Like, it was one of
Yeah.
those kind of movies where like, "Oh, I bet you I know how this is gonna," and then it kind of like swerved a little bit. But I like some of the imagination
I
characters.
mean, you went with Amelia. How did she like it? Did she enjoy it?
She struggled through the first like 40 minutes because she was like, there's too many people, there's not enough like silly creatures that you see in the trailers.
Mhm.
Like, it's all people
Yeah,
talking.
you don't see a lot of that until like halfway through the movie.
Yeah, and like it opens like a Disney movie, like full spoilers, like there's a mom and dad and like mom dies.
Huh.
And right away,
Duh.
which is like the start of all these Disney movies, like Up, like you're like, oh, this
Mhm.
is great, and then like the woman dies, and you're like, wow, this is really sad.
Finding Nemo.
It was like one of those, and like Kate was like, is this too like dark and deep for her? And I was like, I don't know, she's kind of losing focus. But then we like meet all the imaginary figures, and she's like, whoa, this is cool. I'm into this now. So
Yeah, it was quite a ways into the movie before it became like an actual kids movie.
yeah.
Like, I felt like the first like 30 or 40 minutes, it was dark, boring, and kind of confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Not
like
not a lot happened.
it's one of those rare movies though where I feel like a lot of directors can do a good movie, but then they don't stick the landing, and you're like, that movie sucks because you didn't stick the landing. But like, this movie is like the opposite, where like I felt like he stuck the landing. He just didn't know how to start it properly.
No.
He was just like, I don't know how to really like start this story, but like I know how to end it. So that like really like helped. Like, at least you nailed the ending, so that we
Yeah.
can forget about that first 30 minutes.
It almost seems like when they were storyboarding, they had like 4 or 5 different intros, and they
Yeah.
were like, let's just kind of mix them all together and start the
Yeah.
movie that way. It was like, we'll just take pieces of every single different beginning and make that's just going to be our beginning.
Nice.
Like, I wonder if there's like a director's cut where they add 15 minutes where it just makes a little bit more sense. Like, it felt like they just cut out like that one scene that like told you something, and
Sometimes a little exposition's good.
yeah, like
Yeah.
just a little bit. Like, we don't need anything crazy,
Right.
but it just had one of those weird introductions, but like really stuck the landing, and like felt like one of those happy movies by the end.
Well, on the topic of John Krasinski, Quiet Place Day 1 is coming out, I think, this week.
Yep.
Is it this week?
It's this week or next week. I'll check.
Well, so wait, hold on. So which one
Yeah,
of you has
Fireplace
seen the
Day
second
One's
one, and which
June
one of you has
28th.
seen the first one?
Okay. So I've only seen the first one. Colby has only seen the second one. Steve, you've seen both, right?
I have seen both. Yes.
So when we see this, we need to find someone who hasn't seen any of them.
Okay, so Andrew's seen one, and Colby's seen two.
Uh-huh.
I think one is better just because like I didn't know what to expect.
Mhm.
Like, two, you're like,
Yeah.
I kind of get what we're getting. Although in two, you get Cillian Murphy,
Right.
who's great.
I
like-
remember that part of it.
But I'm excited for three, except you don't get Emily Blunt or John Krasinski.
Yeah, it's a prequel.
Mhm.
But you're getting that lady who's great, but I can never pronounce her name, and that other guy from Stranger Things. Like, I know they're great actors, I just don't know their names. Like, they're gonna be good in it.
Joseph Quinn.
Yep.
And then Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes.
I definitely butchered that.
You definitely
Was
butchered
she the one
but-
that was in Nope?
Yep. And she was in Black Panther.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, yeah, she's in Black Panther too, yeah.
What was her name? I'm pulling it up now. Nakia.
Nakia.
Oh, yeah.
Nakia.
Yeah. So I think it'll be good because he directed it, right?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken.
I know he wrote it, probably produced it, but I believe he directed it.
So he's not directing. This is
Oh, no?
Michael Cernovsky.
Michael.
Um,
Probably famous
He's
director. but I
so
don't know.
John Krasinski is a producer, and then the director and John Krasinski co-wrote it.
Okay. So at least,
Yeah.
yeah, he wrote it. So it's in that same, like, voice,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. I'm looking forward to that. And, like, along that same lines, a movie is coming out called The Watchers. Have you seen the trailer for that?
No.
But it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
I've like,
Interesting.
well, someone was just talking about this with me.
So I think it has the potential to be, like, weird and interesting. Because, like, at the very least, M. Night's movies are weird and interesting
Mm-hmm.
if they don't all, like, crush it. But,
Right.
like, I assume she comes of the same mind. And from the trailer, it looks super weird, just like an M. Night movie would look.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Interesting.
kind of looking forward to that, even though I don't like scary movies. But I'll
Did,
probably go see it.
Did either of you see Challengers?
No.
No, I really want to, though.
Yes. So I
I don't think
think I.
Tom saw that movie either.
What was that one?
I said I don't think Tom Holland saw that movie either.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know, if I was him, I probably wouldn't. I'd be supportive, but I don't know how supportive you can be there. I think I'm in that movie. I filmed as an extra on it. The scene that I did, I've talked about it on here before. I was paparazzi in the background, so there's a very likely chance you can't see me. But like, I initially was gonna go see that movie opening night and let people know if I was in it, so they would know or not. But I don't know. My sister saw it. She said it was really good, and I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about it.
Did your sister
Everything
not
just
look
seems-
for you in the movie?
Yeah.
She didn't know. She didn't know I was in it.
You didn't tell her?
I told her I was in his. She knew. I wouldn't have not told her I was working on a Zendaya movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she thought I was in Dune.
You were a
But
Santa.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Sandworm number 3.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Where was I going with that? I haven't heard anything negative about that. The trailers made it look like it's about a threesome. From what I've heard, it's more about tennis than that. So
Yeah, they definitely make it like a sexual weird thing instead of like a tennis.
yeah,
Tennis is like the backdrop to this like weird relationship forming.
That's good. I
Because-
don't like this anyways.
Not really a big fan.
when we were working on the film, all they told us was that it was a Zendaya movie about tennis, and we're like, what?
Yeah. Huh?
That
You're
doesn't
like,
sound
is it?
like a biopic, or are we talking like a movie?
She's not. Tennis was not integral to her upbringing, I don't think.
I don't think so. She has like a tennis body though.
She
She's
does,
like skinny and lanky. Like that's like a tennis
yeah.
build. I
I
would
mean,
say.
I don't know many tennis people, so I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I'm just take your word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like she'd be like a good runner, like a sprinter.
He looks fast. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks real
Yeah.
fast, like lean, fast. Yeah, she'd
Yeah,
be,
I can see that.
yeah, I can see that. So maybe that'll be her next movie. She'll just run, and there'll be a threesome.
Maybe.
What if it's like a trilogy? She just like runs tennis, running, and swimming. Swimming. She has like a swimmer body too. She needs to like thicken
Oh.
up a little bit to swim, but she's got that lean approach,
Yeah.
long strokes. You know what
So
I mean?
the first one focuses on her, the next one will be Mike Feist, and then the third guy for the third one.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
Anywho,
Another movie that I saw since our last one was Civil War. I don't know if either of you guys saw that movie.
I saw that one.
I did not.
What'd
It
you
looked really good though.
I really liked it. Kate really liked it. Like, it's like one of those movies that, like, I might never watch again because, like, it was pretty straightforward into the, like, one of those movies that was so jarring. Like, the visuals of it were, like, intense.
It was very intense.
Like, they don't show stuff like that anymore.
No.
And the way that they show it in, you know, because they're following, it's essentially a war movie where instead of following like the soldiers, they follow the journalists, and you like learn their side of the story. But it's also like this weird like near future Earth where like the Democrats and Republicans are basically fighting against each other. Like,
It's literally a Civil War.
Yeah,
Oh, I
but
love
like,
that.
what's her name? Kirsten Dunst is really good
Yeah.
in it. You know, they cut out that scene where she kisses Spider-Man, so that helps.
Thank God.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's the guy. He was essentially like, we couldn't get Pedro Pascal, so we got this guy. Like,
I know
he looks
exactly who you're talking about.
like, he looks like Pedro, except he's not Pedro.
It's Pedro, not Pedro.
Yeah, and he was great, but I'm like, they've definitely called Pedro first, and he was like, I got shit to do. And they're like, all right, we'll go to the next guy who looks like you. And he's great. Like, I've seen him in other things.
Part 2 right now.
Yeah, like I've seen him in other things, and he's great in them. But yeah, they were like, let's call Pedro. He's not oh, okay, we'll get this guy. But it had some like really cool sequences that I've never seen before. There was and it's one of those movies where one scene, so Jesse Plemons shows up for like 5 minutes, and he just crushes the movie.
Yeah.
Because he's just like a insane racist. Like, he just basically is like, where are you from? And they're like, we're from these states. And one guy says China, and he just shoots him dead and puts him in a hole because he's like,
he was
all
psychotic.
American. So Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons are married in real life, and apparently nobody wanted that role because like nobody wants to show up in a movie for 5 minutes, be super racist
and kill somebody,
and just shoot people, and then like get run over by a car and die. Like, nobody wants to do that role.
Hey, yeah, I can't say.
But so Kirsten Dunst apparently like made him play the role because like it's her husband, and he was like, all right, I guess I have to do it. So he did the role, and he like absolutely stole the show for his 5-minute scene because it was like one of those scenes in a movie where you know it's not real, but like your palms are sweaty because you're like, holy shit, what's gonna happen?
Right. Yeah.
Like, this can change the whole tune of the movie, and it pretty much did.
I think it was, like you said, I don't think it's anything I'm ever going to watch again necessarily, but although I do think it is something that people should watch. Like, I think it's definitely a really good, interesting movie from a perspective that we, as far as I know, haven't really had a movie around. I mean, even take like the American Civil War out of it or whatever, but just like the fact that you're kind of following the journalists through a war zone, you kind of get to see what journalists will go through to try to get the scoop or whatever.
Well, that's. I wonder if my sister saw that because she's a journalism major. But
She should.
And I taught a journalism class, so I feel like I could have integrated this year. But oh well.
There's a really cool.
I don't know if you could have showed that movie to 8th graders.
Well,
no, it's a tough watch.
It's 11th and 12th graders, but still.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that still might be permission slips.
Yeah,
I know. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do this week with them. I gotta show them a movie just to keep them from ripping my classroom apart.
They do an interesting thing in this movie too, where like you can see that violence is coming, and instead of showing you like in a video format the violence, they show you like stills of the violence.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's more jarring because like all of a sudden there's like a guy, and then there's a still of him like on fire, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, you don't see all the violence throughout the whole movie, but like a lot of it you just see in these like still images, and there's like blood and guts and gore, and it's like more intense because of the still images.
I think the closest thing to relate it to is like, I know that you know there's the whole Israel and stuff going on over there, but like, remember when Russia first invaded Ukraine? And there was all those like clips of the soldiers and stuff fighting, and it was just kind of jarring because you're like, it's surreal that this is happening in 2023 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that on that type of level where it's just like insane that you're witnessing modern day war, but at like a scale that previously, like during World War II, that wasn't something you were watching. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have the internet. It wasn't streamed online.
Yeah. You wouldn't have footage of what was happening.
Yeah, so it's just kind of different because you're seeing it like almost in real time. Like this is happening the next state over in that movie, which is kind of crazy. Or like, this is my neighborhood, like shit like that.
Yeah.
And it being filmed in America about Americans, it's kind of just like you forget that this stuff is happening other places in the world, and it just kind of sets you a little bit more in reality.
Right.
Well, it's like
it is definitely worth it. Watching it for sure.
There's a scene where the journalists are like talking to each other because there's a young journalist who like kind of commandeers the whole trip. She's like, "I'm coming," like, and Kirsten Dunst is like, "You're not," and they kind of like come to blows, and they're not nice to each other, but they like saddle up and go together. So they're like learning each other as you like travel to where are they going? Where's the hot zone? Like Washington D.C. Like that's where they're going. Like New York.
They want to
DC.
interview the president.
Yeah. And like there's a moment where they sit down and they're both like talking about their families. And she's like, "Yeah, my family lives in Denver and they're just out there pretending that this isn't happening." Like they just like live in bliss, like blissful ignorance that there's not like world war happening on one street and then like 2 streets over like nothing's happening. So it has that like juxtaposition of like craziness. And cuz there's a scene too where they go into a town and they like go to a boutique and try on clothes, and like they go to the lady behind the counter who's like unfazed, and they're like, "Do you know that there's like a civil war happening outside?" And she's like, "Yeah, we know, but like we just pretend like it's not happening, or like we're not part of it."
Yeah, she's like, "We just don't pick sides."
Yeah.
Close my eyes, nothing will happen.
Yeah. But then they come outside, and because you think it's like this nice quiet town, and then the guy's like, "I just made 2 guys on that roof." So you like look at the roof and there's like 2 dudes up there with rifles, like making sure shit doesn't go down anyways. So like it's happening, but it's not happening. Like it just had some good images and like some good storytelling techniques, which made it worth a watch. Yeah. But it's not like you don't revisit it. You're not like, "Oh, let's go watch Civil War." You're like, "Oh, have you seen this? You haven't? Like, let's sit down and watch it."
Yeah, it's. I think it's a great discussion movie.
Yeah.
Like I think it leads to some interesting discussions following watching it.
That's what I want to watch, so I'll try to get that on my list.
Yeah, that's definitely worth watching.
And it's like super political without like announcing that it's super political.
Yeah, well, right.
Like outright.
But like tastefully political. I mean,
at points, yeah.
For what you need it to be. I mean, for it to be a Civil War movie.
Right, it's called Civil War, right?
Yeah, so you do need it, but yeah, it's just interesting, and like I said, it's kind of creative from a different point of view.
Nice. So Colby and I saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, so I think so. Again, for that franchise, that was a first for me.
So wait, you saw this one, but not the most recent 3?
Haven't seen any of the others, yeah.
Oh, those ones are so much better too.
Not even the Maki Mock one.
Well, that one's skippable for sure.
Yeah. Good old Mark.
Not
really. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I liked the story. Like I said, not knowing any of the lore, I think it helps in some areas and it hurts in other areas, but I enjoyed myself throughout most of it. I don't know if either of you wanted to comment on that.
I thought it was good. Like I enjoyed it while I was watching it, and I was like, I like that universe, like the whole Planet of the Apes universe. I think as I like thought about it more, I was like, it was all right, because so this is like so there's the original 5,
yeah,
from like back in the 70s. 60s, 70s, 80s, wherever it was. I'm terrible with dates. But the original 5, and then the new trilogy, which is like the Matt Reeves trilogy, even though he only directed 2 of them.
Right.
I don't remember who directed the first one, but
Okay.
people don't talk about that one as much because James Franco is the main character, and people don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
But the whole like trilogy of that one was based around Caesar, who is like the main ape who
Yeah,
is,
so I didn't know that he was an actual character, like established in the other movies when I was
Yeah.
watching this one.
yeah, and he's played by Andy Serkis in a mocap suit.
Oh,
So like it is way more than just like a CGI ape. Like it's Andy Serkis, and they like, you know, capture his movements and capture his facial expressions and his dialogue. And he's just like such a good lead character. And you don't get that
Nice.
in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Like the lead character is played by like kind of like a weak ape throughout most of the movie,
yeah.
who only like gains his confidence at the end, and he like sings a song and birds attack. So
Right,
it was like,
right.
okay, like that's kind of cool, except Caesar would just kick your ass. Like so like that part of it was a little lost on me, but I just enjoy that universe, like the apes taking over and the whole. I like anything that's like against normal society. Like I like dystopian future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I do too.
Post-apocalyptic or whatever.
Yeah.
Anything post-apocalyptic, I'm all in.
Cool.
That's just like my wheelhouse because anything can happen because it's not real. You know what I mean?
I'm intrigued to see where the series goes from here. Like I've seen the
Yeah.
originals. I have not seen them in a long time, but you know that classic twist at the. So Andrew, you haven't seen them.
That's
but,
all right, yeah.
The original. The original movie. The twist is that throughout the plot they think they're on a different planet controlled by apes, and at the end of the movie they end up. The Statue of Liberty is revealed. I think it was like in the sand or whatever.
I see. Yeah.
The realization they're on Earth.
like 3,000
obviously
years in the future.
Yeah, so like obviously this one is not that same kind of trope.
Yeah,
It's not the same
right.
exact thing. But the idea of like we saw in the ending of this one, where humans are still around, and there's clearly people that are, even though it's 300 years later, using technology and communicating with each other. So like I'm intrigued to see where that goes. But I agree with Steve that I think the movie definitely hurt from a lack of Caesar. I think Caesar definitely carried the original 3.
Okay.
He was just like a lot more interesting of a character than Noah.
Well, I mean, Andy Serkis is an incredible actor too, so
he is. Yeah, so like that definitely has something to do with it. But I just think his character, like Caesar, to me, like he was Planet of the Apes. That's just what I thought. Whenever I think Planet of the Apes, I think Caesar.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or Mark Wahlberg, but for different reasons.
We forget that one exists. So.
Oh well, I'll never forget. I've seen it. It's not something you easily forget.
Well, we got to mention Mark Wahlberg at some point, right?
I know. I was wondering if he was going to show up.
There it is.
Yeah.
Ties in.
I can't say he's not relevant. Yeah.
I don't know if I've
Another
seen it.
movie I saw was The Fall Guy. Did either of you guys see that movie?
I haven't seen that one yet.
No, I wanted to see that one though.
So, it was pretty good. I think Ryan Gosling's really great, and I think he's hilarious. And same with Emily Blunt. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything she's in that's bad.
Well, I liked how this movie starred the 2 romantic interests of Barbenheimer.
Yeah. It's funny. It's a fun action movie. It's nothing new necessarily. Like you're gonna sit there for 2 hours and just enjoy the stupid action that you're watching.
Yeah, so the trailers, like, it reminded me a lot of Bullet Train.
Yeah, it kind of has like the same vibes of Bullet Train, except it doesn't take place on a train. So
Right, yeah,
that's pretty
action-wise,
different.
I suppose.
Well,
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson again too.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot he was in that one too.
Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, he just keeps popping up.
Craven.
Oh my god, no, we're not done with him.
Oh no, we're
Great.
just getting started.
But yeah, I thought that movie was all right. I think it's
Nice.
if you're bored, it's an interesting watch.
Cool.
As far as upcoming movies. So I was just scrolling through a list of 2024 movies,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently there was a Blood and Honey 2 that I missed. Not that I saw the first one.
Not the Winnie the Pooh one.
Yep.
So I clicked on it,
Yep.
and there's a Blood and Honey 3 in the works. Because of course.
Have you seen the first one?
No. But what I
heard
thought
it was
was
awful.
hilarious.
I mean, it didn't look good by any means, but
When I clicked this one, the top article was Bambi the Reckoning trailer turns the beloved deer into a vengeful monstrosity.
that's right.
Oh man, we're gonna have like a decade of these shitty movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and then there's
Public
the Mickey
domain
Mouse
is ruining these
coming out.
characters. What is it? The Mousetrap? Is that what it's called?
The Mousetrap or something.
Really?
The Monkey Mouse one? Yep.
And it's not based on the board game; it's based on Mickey Mouse.
It's Mickey Mouse as a serial killer.
Well, that's kind of awesome.
Because one of the renditions of
Mickey's
Mickey Mouse.
It's Mickey's Mousetrap.
Ah. Yeah, because like the original Mickey Mouse character entered the public domain. So people are doing that with it.
The other thing that the Blood and Honey article said that they want to introduce Freddy and Jason in a crossover with Blood and Honey as part of the Pooniverse.
Pooniverse.
Yep, that's what it says.
Pooniverse.
Mhm.
Pooniverse.
Yep.
I think they're making the sequel because Tigger came a year after Pooh and Piglet for the public domain. I really think that's what happened.
Oh, so you think Tigger shows up as like his buddy?
Well, no, it looks like Tigger's in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Tigger and Piglet are in the Blood and Honey 2, it looks like.
Like they're helping out with massacres.
Yeah, because they're
up.
in the poster.
Why are they doing that?
I wish I had a reason.
Who's directing these things? Just like psychopaths? Like you have to put the people who direct these things have to be put on a list. Like
I
there's gotta be a
imagine,
list of these people. Like nobody comes up with this and goes, "That's great. Let's do this."
Directed by, I can't even pronounce that name. Rice Frake Waterfield? Rice? I think it's Rice. Or Reese?
Reese.
I don't know.
RHYS.
Not wanting.
So-
I'm reading the plot.
I was going to say, I was just looking at the synopsis of the second one.
Not wanting to live in the shadows any longer, Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Tigger take their fight to the town of Ashdown, leaving a bloody trail of death and mayhem in their wake.
Nice.
Did you have a different one?
No, mine was...
All right.
Hold on.
I'd be happy to hear another one.
Oh, this is a different one. Deep within the 100-acre wood, a destructive rage grows as Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Tigger find their home and their lives endangered after Christopher Robin revealed their existence. Not wanting to live in the shadows any longer, the group decides to take the fight to the town of Ashdown, home of Christopher Robin, leaving a bloody trail of death and mayhem in their wake. Winnie and his savage friends will show everyone that they are deadlier, stronger, and smarter than anyone could ever imagine, and get their revenge on Christopher Robin once and for all.
I wonder if they'll bring Ewan McGregor back for that.
That would be awesome.
What if he showed up as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Did you guys see that
The
Christopher Robin
crossover
movie?
we all wanted.
I never saw it.
Which movie?
The Christopher Robin one.
No, I've only seen memes where he's like sitting at a bench and he turns around and he goes, "Oh, Pooh!"
Yeah, I've seen like that.
I saw it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was it was cute, but it was really good.
So,
Nostalgic, for sure.
have you guys seen any of the Saw movies?
I've
No.
seen 1 and 2, maybe 3.
I've seen snippets of them, but not one in
Because-
its entirety.
This Mickey Mouse Trap movie is giving me Saw vibes. The synopsis says it's Alex's 21st birthday, but she's stuck at the amusement arcade on a late shift. So actually, it looks like almost what was it? Five Nights at Freddy's. She's stuck at the amusement arcade on a late shift, so her friends decide to surprise her. But a masked killer dressed as Mickey Mouse decides to play a game of his own with them, which she must survive.
It's like Wreck-It Ralph meets Five Nights at Freddy's.
I kind of want to see it.
Hey, I do too, kind of. But you know what I don't want to see?
Oh, lay it on me. Lay it on me.
Steve, you know where I'm going with this?
The Pharrell Lego movie.
The Pharrell Lego movie.
Yeah,
That trailer is so bad.
So,
it's real bad.
I've said it on here when we made our film fantasy list. I told them to wait for a trailer before you gave me crap.
We
I'll
give you crap
take-
now.
Throw it in my face.
Well, like,
Shit
so
your pants and throw the diaper at me.
I watched the whole
It looks
trailer
so bad.
and I was like, okay, so he really likes music. Okay, where does the Lego fit into all of this?
It doesn't.
He doesn't, like, I get it if like Lego had a big influence on him in some way, shape, or form,
Mhm.
but they're just Lego-fying it for Lego's sake. Like,
So
I don't
Almost
get
like-
it.
Almost like they knew the movie wouldn't make money, so like if we make it into a Lego movie, it might make
Yeah.
more money.
it's a biopic about him, and his career is not over. It's featuring new music, and then he's not like an A-list actor. Like I feel like to
Yeah.
have like a biopic in Lego form to me is a really cool idea. If it's for someone worth seeing it about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, he doesn't really have a legacy. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like Elton John or
Yeah,
No.
Freddie Mercury or whatever. Like, he's not like that tier of like an artist.
And if it
you know
was
what I mean?
like-
Like, I feel like people don't see him that way. So it's
like it
kind of
would
weird.
make sense if it was like
himself.
Chris Pratt, maybe just because he was in the Lego movie. Like that was one of his first breakout roles.
Also,
But
isn't it kind of pretentious for him to want to make a movie about himself?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah, I don't.
it's
when he's
just
not
like-
really.
There's so many things that like go against Lego standards in this sense too, because I was like, why is Snoop Dogg in this? Like Snoop Dogg's like a gangster from like,
Mhm.
you know, Hollywood who has been in like gang violence. They're like, oh, he's fine. He does music now.
Also, like, what's the first thing you think about with Snoop Dogg? I mean,
It's just rap music and
I just
bad
and
words.
weed?
Like,
like
yeah, like
his whole shtick is he's always high. That's like
Yeah.
his thing.
Yeah,
and not to mention all the random famous singers. Their minifigures look terrible.
It's just like I don't know. Like
I want
I
to
mean,
know
obviously,
what-
Lego might have just been like, "Oh, sure, green light it, whatever. Who cares? Just use the bricks.
Yeah,
like
so-
we're not associated."
Now the only silver lining I can like come up with, and this is reaching out of the bare bones of my ass to get this, is like Lego had to have some reason for approving this.
Money.
Like,
Just make Lego Movie 3. You'll make millions.
and people will
Hundreds of millions.
have an interest in that.
Yeah, like I'm sure you can just bring the dump truck full of money to Chris Pratt's house. Here we go. We're gonna do it again. You only have to work for like a week. Like it's just a voice.
Really,
Like, come on. Like
Oh, Steve, you
someone
didn't know
could
it's
write
actually
that.
mocap.
Yeah.
Oh,
all of it, every character.
Well, that changes it.
Yeah, you didn't know that.
That's why it was such a big deal when they had Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just like so they have a Ninjago movie. They have a Batman movie. They have the Lego movies, and now they're gonna have a Pharrell movie.
It just doesn't
yeah,
fit.
it's super fucking
It just
weird.
doesn't make sense.
There's like
That's
there's an obvious
super weird.
outlier there. Like Lego's
I-
not a Pharrell. Is the Lego is? Let me start that again. Pharrell is not a Lego line.
I could see like a Lego music movie. That would be really cool
Like
in a
Sing.
sense. Yeah, but like, why Pharrell specifically? Like, what did he do? Like, why is he like Colby said? He's not special. He's not on that tier of musician that you're like, oh my god, like legendary status. That's why they're doing this. That makes sense. Like, I mean, in a weird way, it's like he didn't pass away. Like you're
No.
not doing it in that sense. It's
Right.
not- like if this was Prince,
He's still
I'd be
relatively
like,
young
oh,
too.
okay, that makes sense. Like Prince is like a legend. Like let's do a Prince Lego movie. That'd be kind of cool. But like Pharrell, it just feels so weird.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like I said, he doesn't really have a legacy. He's had
The
like
guy's
I mean-
51 years old.
I could be totally wrong with this. I'm not huge into music. Everybody knows that. I don't really listen to music that often. But as far as I know, he's only ever had like the one hit, right?
What happy?
Happy,
Yeah,
right? Isn't that like
Well,
his only hit?
his songs are only featured because of the Despicable Me movies.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he would have. a recognizable name if he hadn't gotten them in that.
It's just super weird.
Very weird.
Like Lego's done some weird things, like the Queer Eye set that came out of nowhere. Like nothing against that group of people who identify in that way, but it just
No.
like felt like a weird set at that.
Yeah.
The show wasn't popular anymore, and this $100 set gets released, or there's just like random things that they do that you're like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No.
But this one was like a whole nother level of like super weird. Like what are we doing here?
Well, so Colby and I were talking about this. We wonder if Pharrell's gonna get a CMF series with all these actors.
I mean, there's got to be a set, right? Coming,
Has to be at least one.
like a concert
Also,
stage.
Something that's interesting to note is that the movie's not even, because I think all the other Lego movies were produced by Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm not 100% sure, and this one is
Well,
not
I know.
Warner Brothers, which is something interesting to note. So like they didn't even go with the same studio. This one's with Focus Features.
God.
I just think it's interesting that they didn't even go with Warner Brothers. It almost like would seem like Warner Brothers has the partnership with like Lego Movies. Not that anybody else couldn't make them per se.
Right. Well, I mean, Lego Batman, but Warner Brothers.
And I think the Lego Movie was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think they are as well. And I think they made a Lego Friends movie too, which just didn't go to theaters.
I just looked it up. So Lego, all of the other 4 Lego movies were Warner Brothers. Lego Movie 1, 2, Lego Batman, and Ninjago.
Okay.
So it is just interesting to note that this one is not by Warner Brothers.
I kind of want to rewatch the first Lego movie.
Oh, the
It's
Lego
been a while
movies are
since
great.
Yeah, I'm not saying they aren't. I just I think I watched it in theaters, and I've watched it maybe once since then. And I feel like since that time, I think I can say it openly on here now. I worked at Lego for 5 years. I'm sure there's a lot of more references that I just missed because I didn't know they were references.
Yeah. I also forget Will Ferrell's in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, it's Will Ferrell.
Yep.
That's cool.
It had a stacked cast.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman plays God.
Yeah, makes sense. Both of them did though.
Yes, this is true.
Second one did too. Batman did too because you got Will Arnett, Colby's favorite.
Fucking Christ, dude! The thing is I hate. We all know I hate him so much, and I always forget he exists until I'm just randomly watching something, minding my own business. That motherfucker just pops up out of nowhere.
Well,
and ruins the rest of my night.
He does Lego Masters. He does Reese's commercials. He
Yeah.
does
That's
car
what I saw. It
commercials.
was Reese's commercial.
Yeah,
I was
so
actually heated for 30 minutes after that.
You should have a Reese's. You're like, shut up, Will.
I was, don't tell me what to do, Will.
Not my mom.
Yeah, there's certain actors that I see and I'm like, I won't see that movie because I just hate them that much.
I hate him so much.
I don't mind Will Arnett. He's not really an actor anymore. He's just like a voice.
He just kind of exists.
Yeah. But
He was on Arrested Development.
that was good.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I
so,
did, yeah.
I didn't know he was on that until Cassie got me to start watching it. I watched 3 episodes. Well, he was introduced in the first episode, and his character's name made me hate him so much more because his character's name is Job.
Job. Yep.
What the hell even is that?
Yeah.
I like that show. Another stacked cast.
Pretty good. It's so simple. I like a good simple show.
Yeah. All this the double entendres are what made that show.
Yep.
My favorite is when he tries to join the Blue Man Group because he's depressed.
I like David Cross. He's my favorite.
Yeah, David Cross was good in there.
So good.
Was that what's the kid's name?
Michael Cera?
Yeah, was that his start or?
I don't know. I would say so, but I can't.
Because I feel like I don't know.
I mean, Superbad was what I would recognize him
That's
for.
what I was thinking too. Yeah.
But also that.
Oh, Michael Cera was also Robin in the Lego Batman movie.
True.
So
And Scott Pilgrim. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
I was just looking at an article about the Pharrell Williams movie. Okay.
Okay.
And the line that he says in the trailer is, you know what would be cool is if we told my story with Lego pieces. And he's like, oh, and the director goes, seriously? And he goes, just be open. And then right below that, it's a quote from Pharrell. It says, what we made is not like any other movie. I don't know what a comp for it would be. He explains of the psychedelic looking visuals that seem to be infused with joy as much as they are music. People can try and label it, it's just its own film. It's mind blowing. In a way, the freedom that we were able to put together in this film, but that only works if you're channeling your subject. What the fuck does any of that mean?
It means you're so into yourself that you don't like. You're so far in your own ass that you don't understand the real world.
Like,
Like,
I appreciated. I didn't like hate his music. I didn't know much of it. Like, I nothing against the guy, but like I've lost respect for him from this.
but the psychedelic looking visuals that seem to be infused with joy as much as they are music. What are you talking about? It's a Lego movie. You have psychedelic visuals in that movie?
Yeah, like,
What?
is this like an R-rated Lego movie? Like, what are we doing here?
Just get it down.
Yeah, like, I don't understand.
Laptop's dying.
Couch man's afraid to leave the couch.
All right.
Locked and loaded.
Reach.
Yeah, it's gonna bomb. Like, there's no way it's not gonna bomb, right?
Oh yeah, no. I guess a fun way to end this would be to have us. I can read through the film fantasy list we have, just to see what's come out so far. We don't have to do anything with scoring with it. Unless you guys had other stuff you wanted to do first.
Can you like recap what we all have as our tops?
Yeah. So, and I will see if I can share my screen on.
So,
here.
before we go into that real quick,
Yeah.
I was just reading more of that article, and it was basically his producer was trying to convince him to do a biopic like 8 years ago. He didn't want to do it, and his producer basically said to him, you know, you can do it however you want. So he's like, fine, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it as in a Lego movie. He said, he continues, but when he finally said the magic words, you can do it any way you want, I knew deep down inside that I wanted to do it through Lego. What a weird choice.
But like, why? Like, there's
But like,
no,
also you just don't have to do it.
like, there's no connection. Like, why?
No.
No, there's
Like, I'm gonna do my
like
biopic.
that sounds like he's doing it in spite of his producer.
I mean, it's possible in the movie he's going to be like, oh, also, like, Lego is my favorite thing in the world. But none of this article doesn't specify that at all. It's not like
He hasn't been
he's
on
playing
Lego
with Lego forever.
Like, they've had celebrity guest stars on Lego Masters. I don't think he's one of them.
I wouldn't know. I never made it past Will Arnett.
I know.
Colby watches the Australian Lego Masters.
I heard that's better,
I've heard it's better too, to be honest.
Sources
I haven't
have told me
seen
that
it.
as well.
but yeah, let me. I'll pull that up.
When does that come out?
September, I think.
Oh, not for a while.
October 11th, I think it said.
No, it's
October
It's a
11th.
while.
still
Yeah,
too
it's a
soon.
while. But we have to see it. We have to.
We have to see it.
We have to see it. Also, we have to see it in IMAX. Or 4D if that's
I was
an
gonna
option.
say let's do this one in 4D.
What would that be? Like,
I hope they throw Lego pieces at you. I'm going to bring a bag so I can catch them all.
oh, maybe
There
you
you
have
go.
to like walk into the theater with no shoes on, and the floor is just covered in Lego.
Oh,
Oh,
Maybe
now
it's
we're
just
That's-
Pharrell. Maybe he's just going to be there.
talking. At all theaters at all
Mhm.
times.
Well, they only do one
Ooh.
showing at a time. It's one showing a day. He
What
has
if
to
there's
fly
like
to
a-
another theater.
There's a Pharrell hologram that's just like present at all movie theaters.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Hit us
All
up
right,
with the draft.
So, do you want me just to read it off?
Go for it.
All right. So for our listeners, we did an episode at the beginning of this year. We're a film fantasy kind of thing where we did for at the end of 2023. We each selected 6 films that we thought performed well in the box office and just by IMDb score and Rotten Tomatoes score. the idea was that once one person claimed a movie, the other two could not claim it. So we did the same thing for 2024. I'm gonna go with Colby's list first because
Oh,
of
great.
his 6 films, 4 of them have already been released.
Oh wow.
So his number one pick. Actually, I'll do last to first, even though we are all
I honestly
expecting
don't
these to
even
be high
remember what my
contenders.
list looked like.
So
remember.
your number 6th pick, to the shock of anyone in the TUPCast community, was Arthur the King, starring Mark Wahlberg,
Mark!
which has already been released.
Guys, I found a dog.
Number 5, you had Challengers, which we talked about today.
Okay.
Number 4, you had Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes,
It made enough money.
I'd say. But we're not judging based off of income. Your number 3 was Bob Marley, One Love. And your number 1 and 2, which have not been released yet. Number 2, you had Avatar 3. And number 1, you had Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Do we know if for certain if Avatar 3 is coming out?
I don't
this
think-
I
year?
don't think either of those.
I was gonna
Either.
say, I don't think either of those 2 movies come out.
I want to say Beyond the Spider-Verse is like December. I'm gonna fact check that.
I
now.
think it's gotten
Allegedly.
pushed though because there's
Yeah,
like
I
a
think
lot of
it
feedback
was
that
supposed
like
to come out in December. I don't know that it is, though.
Mhm.
that's tough.
I don't know. I feel like
So,
every movie
if
that's
that's the
supposed to
case-
come out gets delayed.
We'll just supplement that when we get there. And then Steve, for your list, because you have I 2 or 3, I'm not certain, of yours have been released. So your 6th place was A Quiet Place Day 1,
Nice.
which you said is coming out in a couple weeks from this recording. Number 5, you had Gladiator 2. I don't think that's come out yet.
Yeah, it's end of the year. That's like November.
Okay. Number 4, you had The Bike Riders.
That comes out in like 3 weeks, but it's got like no marketing, so that's not gonna do well.
I don't think I've
Alright.
even seen a trailer for that movie.
You have to like search for it. It's weird.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's Tom Hardy and Austin Butler. Like they're big names, but
Okay.
it's a weird movie. Like there's no marketing for it.
Number 3 was Ballerina.
That's the John Wick universe movie that's supposed to come out like end of summer, I think.
All right.
It's with Ana de Armas.
With no
think that-
trailer yet, that's kind of worrying.
No trailer yet.
I'm gonna.
I would say it's probably not coming out then.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm looking that up
and there's
now.
no trailer.
It says 2025 now.
Yeah.
All right. So if all 3 of us are missing one.
One of my tops, Furiosa, Dune 2.
Yeah. So number 2 was Furiosa for you, and number 1 was Dune 2.
Those
It's a
movies.
solid line.
Fresh.
Which if I were a betting man, I'd put my money on Steve's list.
Yeah. I'm not so confident
then-
about this anymore.
Well,
Sure,
number 1 and 2s don't come out. That's not great.
No.
Yeah, I know.
And then the other ones that did, nah.
That might be what puts you over me with my list here.
Although your Godzilla movie made a ton of money.
Yeah, it did.
But
So for me, my number 6 was the Lego Pharrell Williams movie.
Well, to be fair though, it'll still make a shit ton of money
It will.
because
it
you'll get
will.
Lego people, you'll get music people, and you get people like us who are like, "What the hell did they do this for?"
But the thing is like Andrew said, this list isn't based off income; it's based off ratings.
True.
Based off of IMDb and
Or
Rotten
it might
Tomatoes.
make a shit ton of money, but it
Yeah.
might have a 2.0.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Because Furiosa, I don't think is making a ton of money, but it'll have a high
It's gonna have
score
a
by
high
the end
review.
of the year.
Yeah. All right. So then my number 5 was Beetlejuice 2, also referred to as Beetlejuice, which looks good. I'm intrigued. That one.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yes, that's
PJ
exactly how I
squared.
describe it. Number
He's weird.
4, Joker, Folie à Deux,
Adieu.
which the trailer for that one didn't look as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No.
So I'll go cautiously optimistic on that one too. My number 3 was Godzilla X Con, the only one of my list that's been
Wait,
released at this point.
Godzilla X Con.
Kong.
Like, was it in prison or?
My bad. I meant to say.
Oh. Yeah,
The
Godzilla
former
goes to
convict.
jail is the next
Can you
movie.
imagine that Godzilla
That'll be
prison
the next
movie?
one in the
That would be
franchise, though.
awesome.
Right.
Oh my god,
Um,
Godzilla goes to jail, King Kong gets to break him out. That's what we're getting.
My number 2
I'd watch
pick,
that.
which I am looking forward to, is Despicable Me 4,
Yeah.
which I will perform well. And my number 1 is Deadpool 3, which I will change to Deadpool Wolverine.
Hopefully, I need Marvel to. I need.
I know.
I need. I need. I need this movie to be good.
This movie's gonna kill the Marvel universe if it's bad. Like, and
It's either gonna.
It's literally it's make or breaking.
It's either gonna kill it or save it. Like, there's only two ways this can go.
with this being because this is the only Marvel release this year, right? There's nothing in the fall.
I don't
MCU.
think so.
MCU,
First,
yeah, MCU. Right,
Sony verse we get Craven
And
yeah,
Venom.
nobody cares about that.
and Venom. Yeah.
Nobody cares about that either.
Venom: The Last Dance. Did you see the trailer for that one?
I haven't
haven't
even.
watched
I haven't even watched it yet. I can't bring myself to do it.
You're
saw
not missing much.
A 10-second TikTok
Excuse me.
ad about it, and I just scroll. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
So those are our lists there. I enjoyed I think we should do another thing like that. Just general we could just do movies of all time, or I don't know, maybe not franchise films because
You
There's
just
only
want to
so
do
many
because
in
you
each
want to make another
franchise.
spreadsheet.
I do.
Let's be
Yeah,
real.
I mean, to be fair though, I like lists and drafting
They're
was fun.
satisfying.
It was.
You know, here's the thing. We should do a tier list.
100 greatest movies of all time.
I don't know. I just heard
Like our
tier
own?
lists. I just heard tier lists are in right now.
Oh,
so.
like the S at the top or whatever for
Yeah.
super or
Yep.
Superb.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We should do movie franchises
Oh my god.
That'd be
Yes.
cool.
We
I'm
need to
for
do
that.
it. That's it.
because there's so many franchises at this point.
Movie franchise tier list. Transformers with Mark Wahlberg is going to be number 1. S tier.
Yeah.
We found a
Top of
Transformer.
S tier.
We have to do that.
2 show questions.
Yes.
Are you guys excited for House of the Dragon season 2, or did you guys
I
watch
am.
one?
Didn't watch the first
I watched
one.
season 1.
I'm
I've
excited.
never seen Game of
I am
Thrones.
very excited. I'm probably gonna rewatch season 1 before season 2.
I'm gonna try to because it's only a week now
Oh yeah, you're right.
because it comes out next Sunday. But
Well, it's
so-
only what is it? 6 to 8 episodes.
I think it's first
The
season
first-
8. I think this one's 7.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
And Colby, did you start the Acolyte?
I did.
Did you like it?
Have you watched it?
I watched the first 2.
Okay, so that's all that's out. It's just the first two.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty okay.
Yeah, super average again.
So I didn't really, when the show was first rumored, I was pretty hyped for it because the way it was rumored was it was through the point of view of a Sith or whatever it was. It was just the idea that was rumored is very different than what we're getting now.
yeah.
And so I think the idea that was rumored kind of gave me hopes for something a little bit darker, something a lot cooler. Granted, it is only the first 2 episodes. Something could
Yeah.
change in the next 6.
I was gonna say though, we're a quarter away through the show already.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll get to that after too. So the thing is with Star Wars, they're in kind of a tricky spot. Their movies in the past couple years haven't done great. And by past couple years, I mean 8 years? It's been 4 years since the last, almost 5 years since the last movie.
yeah.
And there's shows we're doing okay. Mando 1 and 2 were really good. Andor I thought was super great. This show was kind of giving me Kenobi vibes based off the trailer, which doesn't say a whole lot. I mean, Kenobi was a little bit of a letdown.
yeah.
But I'm getting sick of the whole trope where characters just randomly ignite their lightsaber because
Yeah.
it's Star Wars. That's what we do. So,
Yeah.
at the end of the first, without spoiling anything, at the end of the first episode, a character ignites his lightsaber, or her lightsaber, whoever it is, ignites the lightsaber to be like, "Oh my god, look at me!"
Mhm.
And that's not cool anymore.
Yeah, we're way past that.
Yeah, it's just.
Right.
And the thing is, if I didn't watch the rest of the show, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who the villain is of the show. We don't know who it is, and I don't care.
I was gonna ask you, like, who's the Shadow Sith?
I have no idea, and the sad thing is, I don't even care.
Like, who could it be that you would care about? Like, Darth Maul is like, that's it.
Well, but the thing is like, it can't be a character that we already know of, I presume. I mean, with the exception of maybe Darth Plagueis, which was Palpatine's master. Maybe, I mean, I don't know a lot of, like, I'm pretty up to date with canon stuff and, like, the lore of, you know, all the movies and shows, and I know a little bit about extended universe and stuff, but I don't know too much about Old Republic or anything like that. So, like, prior to the Phantom Menace, I'm not too familiar with a lot of that stuff.
So this is,
but as far as I know, it'd just be either Darth Plagueis, or maybe we're getting a look at Sheev. Is Sheev that old? Maybe Sheev is secretly 200 years old and we didn't know. I have no idea, but I don't care. I just don't.
So we're a couple hundred years before Luke Skywalker, right?
It's 100. Yes. So it's 100 years prior to Episode 1 with Anakin as a kid. So it's like 150 years prior to Luke Skywalker.
So realistically, Palpatine doesn't exist yet, right?
Theoretically, but who knows? Apparently, he survived a Death Star explosion.
Yeah, like age doesn't, like, Star Wars and age, like, don't matter.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
but like I said, like, logically, maybe it's Palpatine's master. He talks about he killed Darth Plagueis and took his spot, so maybe. But again, it's still 100 years prior to those events.
Yeah,
I don't know. But again, I don't care. I feel like that's the sad thing as a Star Wars fan. I want to care, but I'm just uninterested. And I think the whole igniting the lightsaber thing, I was like, all right, it's going to be one of these. And I just, it's stupid. You're trying to leave, like, a mystery and be like, oh my God, it's the big bad guy. And it's probably not going to be. And that brings me to the whole 8-episode thing. The show's probably going to start off just like we did. There's going to be like 2 or 3 random episodes in the middle. They're going to have 2 episodes where it's kind of going towards the climax. And then they're going to try to shove it all in the last episode. Yeah. That's how every Star Wars show ends. And it's so dumb. And I know they're going to do it with this one, too. Like, we need to stop. We need to get away from the whole, it needs to only be 8 episodes. Stop doing that. It's not good.
I mean, so, like, in Star Wars TV shows, when Luke Skywalker shows up to, like, save the Mandalorian and Grogu, that's, like, top tier show. Like, that's the greatest it's ever going to get for any of these TV shows.
Yeah, for sure. That was
like,
awesome.
I don't even know why they're trying at this point, really. Like, I know you have to, and I know they have the license, and they need to, like, do it because they
still need to milk it. They're like, we need money.
I think the only redeeming things I got out of The Acolyte were, like, more personal, in that I watched it with Amelia, and she was like, I want to watch this week to week. Because
that's a big deal.
Yeah, because she's like, I like it because it's, like, young girls with lightsabers and, learning and training. So, like, for that, I'm like, okay, cool. But, like, as a Star Wars adult, I'm like, this is just another slog of a show that we'll forget.
And I think that's the part of the problem is, like, I'm all for different. Like, I was one of the few people that kind of liked some of the stuff in Last Jedi, not all of it. But I like some of the random... I really
like Last Jedi. I'm a Last Jedi lover.
I liked some of the random new takes they had on stuff that Ryan did. And I'm all for Old Republic stuff and learning about how, you know, the Jedi were in their good days when there was thousands of them and stuff like that. I think that stuff's interesting. It's so fascinating. But I don't know. I'm uninterested. I feel like I don't care.
But it's like, it's also funny too, because everyone wants Star Wars material moving forward to get away from anything Skywalker.
But, and this is that.
But once you bring in Skywalker, everyone's like, it's fucking Luke Skywalker. Like, this is really all we need. Like, everyone wants the different stuff, and then they hate the different stuff. And then you're just like, well, we'll go back to the well that everyone loves, which is Skywalker. Like, it's just so hard. So hard of a fan base.
As you know, nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nobody hates it more.
No, you're absolutely right.
And like, I definitely fall into that category because there's so many things in like Star Wars that
Where it's like you're your own worst enemy. It's
so
like what that
much.
is, yeah.
They're like the
Um,
best and worst fans of a sports team.
Yeah, it's
I
like
went to,
you're
one.
too into
I went
it.
to trivia once. Colby, I don't think you were there for this one at the Riv. And their trivia there is more like Family Feud style, like just surveyed responses. And the final question was which fandom has the most annoying fans. So my group wrote Star Wars.
That's
And
the
how
only
the
one
final-
it can be.
Well, the final question, how it works is the number one answer is 10 points. Second place answer is 5 points. Third place answer is 0 points, and everything else is minus 5 points. So look, there's a lot riding on it there. So Star Wars was the 5 points, the second place answer. The third place answer with 0 points was Harry Potter. And the number one was...
It's Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was gonna say I mean, people hate J.K. Rowling, but that's not Harry
That might
Potter.
have been it.
Yeah.
Number one was... MCU.
Marvel fans.
Yeah. I'm like, that's not right.
I don't know about that. I feel like up until Endgame, Marvel fans were pretty strong.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, like I if the question which fan base is the biggest, I think Star Wars would still have that. But
I mean, Star Wars has got to be the number one IP on the planet, right? It's got to be like the
it
number
has to
one.
be.
I mean,
Yeah.
as far as like films, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe something like Pokemon, but as far as like movies go, I got to imagine it's got to be Star Wars.
No, yeah,
right?
no. Right.
I mean, just think about like all the toys alone; they're everywhere. You can't go into any type of toy store that doesn't have a Star Wars toy.
No, you're right.
I mean, Marvel had like the greatest 10-year run in like movie
They did.
history.
They did.
Yeah.
I think they definitely had the strongest that they owned a decade. And like I think up until that decade was up, their fandom was pretty well together. I mean, I think everybody was pretty much on the same page with most of those movies.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they definitely we all hate their shows and movies nowadays, but we didn't for a long time.
we didn't when they were first coming out because we just wanted them to be good.
Yeah,
Well, now
I
it's
feel like in every episode of this podcast we trail
Go to
onto
Marvel?
how bad the MCU is now too.
because
might
it's
add
so
that-
bad.
I might
So
add
just-
that into the intro.
well, the new rumor I heard was that Giancarlo Esposito, I think his name
Yeah.
is, Moff Gideon is supposed to
Saw
be Kang.
Doc- Oh, I heard he was Doctor Doom.
Or
Okay,
I heard Kang, some
Okay.
version of Kang.
Interesting.
all right. Well, let me ask you: do we care about Kang anymore?
Nope.
No.
Do we? Like,
I
feel like
I did for a good long while, but now I'm all
Because-
about Doctor
I feel like it's okay to just move on now.
So what I read was that Doctor Doom is going to be the big bad in the next Avengers movie, and he's gonna. So Avengers 5 is no longer the Kang Dynasty. They haven't given it a new subtitle, which tells me they're done with Kang.
that.
Yep, 6 is still supposed to be Secret Wars. So Doctor Doom is supposed to be the main antagonist of that. He's supposed to be introduced in the Fantastic Four movie, and he's supposed to appear in 2 other MCU projects before Secret Wars, and in all 4 of them, he's supposed to be an antagonist like force, so they can like build him up. So, like Deadpool 3 is make it or break it, but Doctor Doom is like you can't screw up here.
No, I
You
assume
can't. You just can't.
I assume in the post credits of Deadpool Wolverine, we're getting some kind of a look at Fantastic Four.
That's what I was thinking as well.
like even if it's just one of them, like even if it's just like Reed Richards in a lab, like we're getting something Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe-
we already got the Marvels post credit scene
Which one was
Right.
that? I don't even
Beast.
remember.
with Beast.
Oh yeah,
I didn't see the movie.
I didn't see the movie either. I only saw the post credit scene.
Beast. Yeah.
I
Where's,
just read
like-
about the post credits yet. I
Where's
didn't
like
see it.
Harry Styles? Is he still?
He's
He's
somewhere
never-
in the multiverse.
He's never coming back.
Wherever with Patton Oswalt
There's some weird.
and
post-credits.
Shang-Chi.
Truthfully, I don't think Eternals are ever coming back.
You know what we should do? We should do a tier list of post-credit scenes.
I'm down. I think that would be awesome.
I like that, or like loose ends that Marvel hasn't fished.
Oh my god, yeah, we should do a whole episode on just
We could
Marvel
do that
loose
with
ends.
this. So all these ideas and
If we're
more.
doing horrible post-credit scenes, not to spoil anything, but I'm gonna have the Multiverse of Madness post-credit scene at my definitely top tier, where it's just the dude at the hot dog stand like cackling by himself or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That's got to be one of the worst ones.
Well, that was a
Sam Raimi's
callback.
friend.
That was a callback to Spider-Man too, because that dude was in Spider-Man.
He was
It
supposed
was-
to have
it
a
was a
part
bad
in Spider-Man 4 that didn't get happening.
That's
It was
Bruce
a bad
Campbell. He's like
callback.
super famous.
He's
The
like
actor?
best friends with Sam Raimi too, I think.
Yeah, he did Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
I can't
Like
think of
he's-
the name. I can't think of his name.
Bruce Campbell.
That's right.
Bruce Campbell, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like super famous. What was the other one for that? Was the Charlize Theron, right? She got like pulled
Yeah, when he
into,
got
like,
his third eye.
Yeah, like she's like, "Hey, universe is collapsing." He's like, "All right, cool, peace out. I have 3 eyes now."
Truth
Oh,
be
yeah,
told,
that's
I never
strange.
watched that movie more than the first time we saw it.
So me and Andrew saw Eternals in IMAX, and we thought it was pretty good, but it was because it was loud and like
Visually
sounded
appealing.
good, but like ultimately it was super weird.
Yeah.
It was not a good movie.
Kit
like-
Harington, where's he been?
Yeah, like Jon Snow, like what's his deal? Like
Blade.
Blade. Where's
Blade.
Blade? Mahershala Ali, you still with us? Like,
They've
I
just given up.
honestly, I don't know. They've said they're making all these movies and shit. I feel like we're
It's
not
like-
going to get half of what they promised.
it's like
No.
every movie that came out after Endgame
After Endgame
set
has
something up that has not
a
followed through.
completely different thing up.
Or Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the villain of Thor 5,
Well,
which is supposed to be a
if that
serious film.
I don't need a Thor
if that
5.
happens.
Yeah.
I don't need a Thor 5. Like, we wasted a perfectly solid Christian Bale Gore the God Butcher. Like, there's so
I
many
wasn't-
things the MCU has done wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't as against that as you guys were, but
No, I thought
I
he was
remember
great.
we watched that, and me and Steve were like, "That movie sucked," and you're like, "Oh, I liked it though."
I think Cassie liked it too, and we were like, that movie was terrible.
It
And she
was-
was like,
well,
I liked
after
it.
every
It was
one of those
good."
movies, she's always like, "That's the best one they've made."
No, I think she said that about that one. And we were like,
Yeah.
that's wrong.
Her and Tanea, the same thing.
Oh, man. I also had to
You have
pee that
input
whole
on that?
movie.
Did you like Thor: Love and Thunder?
Not really.
Oh, now she says not really.
Oh,
Oh, it changed the tune there. huh?
okay.
Because I probably did after I watched it though.
Yeah.
We
I-
talked about how every time we saw one of those Marvel movies, you were like, "It was such a good movie."
Yeah, no, I just love Marvel movies. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What did she say she loved?
Wait, what's her
He's
favorite
like, "I
one?
just love Marvel movies." I don't know.
Oh.
What's her favorite one?
My favorite.
Does she have a favorite?
Probably one of the Thor ones, Ragnarok.
Right.
Thor-
Okay, that's a,
Right,
that's
that's
valid.
it's a good, yeah.
She say Thor 2, I heard.
Ragnarok. Oh no!
Oh,
nobody said
sorry,
Thor.
it's, the kick came through on our end, yeah.
You said that. The Dark Elves.
Yeah.
Ragnarok is the most rewatchable.
I love how they just
It's
went
an
at
easy watch.
the Dark World in Endgame. Like,
yeah.
and Thor's like, the Dark Elves. Ooh.
Yeah, they're so stupid.
They're like, yeah, we know we fucked up, but we're going to acknowledge it.
Oh, man.
She said Infinity War is either that or Ragnarok.
I
Good
Infinity
answer.
War might be my favorite.
Both good answers.
I like Infinity War, but Endgame is just that slight bit better for me.
I mean, I feel like that Endgame final battle does it. That wins it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the portal's opening. Like, that's one of those
That's
moments
the
that you're just like,
pinnacle of MCU.
I mean, we'll never forget the end of Infinity War.
no.
Just like they
The
actually
snap.
did
And the
that.
thing is like,
Wow.
we knew it was coming.
Like we knew it was a part one, but still, wow.
Just didn't think it was going to go that hard.
No.
Well, for the longest time, it was Infinity War Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah. Right.
Like, it wasn't even...
And then like they changed it because they wanted to do 2 separate stories, which it worked out
Yeah.
in that way. I see that in retrospect.
I
But the
remember.
Russo brothers, I'll just quickly, they said they would come back to direct Secret Wars, and I haven't heard anything from them regarding this now.
If they came back to direct the next Avengers movie, or a Avengers movie, I'd have a lot more faith in it than if somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember the lead up to Endgame, the Russo brothers. I don't remember if it was Anthony or I think it was Anthony Russo. Was like he had a picture of himself on like a set, and he's like, "Oh, the name to the next Avengers movie is hidden
Mhm.
in this set picture.
It was a game.
And people figured it out pretty fast. Like people highlighted the E and all that stuff, and they go, "Oh no, that's not it."
Well,
like,
so
we figured it out too fast, and they were
there
like,
were
"Oh no, that's not it."
there were two instances of that because there was that one, and then like it leaked somewhere. Like some
And then they were all just
irrelevant
like, "No,
producer
that's not
put it on his like IMDb as Avengers Endgame, and someone took a screen grab of that, and then the Russo brothers were like, "Oh well, you're wrong."
Yeah, they were just trying to gaslight us into being like, "You guys are idiots."
It worked.
Stupid.
I believe them.
It did. And then when the trailer came out, it was Avengers Endgame. I was like, "You fucking pieces of shit!"
I loved how they made the trailer just Avengers official trailer.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was, yeah. That was a time. A time to be alive.
Now we get shit.
Mhm.
We got hot garbage.
Just total shit. Like, what's the best movie post Endgame?
Probably Spider-Man, right?
Spider-Man or
Guardians.
Shang-Chi. I really liked Shang-Chi.
Guardians 3 was
Shang-Chi
pretty good, I
pretty
thought.
good. Like, if you had to, like, it's not as easy as the first run.
Yeah.
No,
You're
absolutely.
You're like,
no one said it was
Winter
going to be easy.
Soldier, Original Avengers, Endgame, Infinity War, like Civil War. Like, those are easy picks as like top 5, top
Yeah.
10. This, you're like, I don't know. Like, one of them
Like,
was
It's
okay.
got to be like Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, or Guardians, I'd have to imagine.
I thought Multiverse of Madness was going to be epic.
that was
It
the
sure
biggest
was.
letdown.
I was so
That was
high on that
I
movie.
was so disappointed.
I was
It
like,
was
this is
also
going to do
hot
it.
garbage.
Oh. I really thought I had so high hopes.
I know. I
ruined it
remember
for
I was there
myself
with you.
now. Like,
I
I
think,
shouldn't have
like-
high hopes.
What was the movie that killed like you having hopes for future movies? Mine was Thor: Love and Thunder. After that movie came out, I was like, I have no faith in any future projects.
I don't. You know what? It was the shows for me.
The shows did it for you.
I
The
think it was,
movies I was optimistic about up through the Marvels. I didn't see the Marvels. The first movie I didn't see since.
I also did not see the Marvels.
I think it was the Secret Wars show, or what was it? The
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what it was for me
Secret
too.
Invasion.
Because Nick Fury is my favorite character, and I was so looking forward to
You
like
know what was sad?
espionage show.
The first like 2 or 3 episodes, me and Andrew were pretty into it, and we
We
were
were.
trying. I think that's when we were trying to convince you to watch it. We were like, "Oh no, this show seems different." Like we
Yeah.
were like, "I think it's gonna be better."
it was
And then
different.
the finale came out, and we were like, "This is the worst fucking thing I've ever
It
seen."
was like the worst Marvel CGI of the whole run.
It was
Amelia Clark
awful.
was like her head was like I can't even describe it.
She-Hulk was also pretty terrible.
You know what the,
I
the
hated She-Hulk.
CGI reminded me of? The Ang Lee Hulk. That's what it
Yeah.
reminded me of.
Yeah,
It was just really, really
Eric
bad.
Bana Hulk, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked. I know I can't say I liked it. I saw what they were trying to do with She-Hulk.
I
like,
never
when-
finished it. I only
when
watched like
she-
the first 2 episodes.
When she broke the
I
fourth
saw it
wall and like went into the Marvel Studios and like tried to find Kevin Feige, I was like, "Really, guys? Like we're
I
doing
thought
this?"
I thought that was funny.
But I just
Not
didn't.
because at that point I wasn't taking anything seriously.
But here's the thing, like, I feel like there's better ways to do that. Like, obviously, in Deadpool, he breaks the fourth wall, but, like, he'll talk to the camera for 4 seconds and then he just goes about his day. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's not walking
Yeah.
into the studio looking for, like, the directors or the producers or
So
whatever.
I really thought the post-credit scene to Multiverse of Madness was going to be Deadpool holding a gun to Kevin Feige.
That would have been way better than what we got.
I really thought that's what was. Like, I thought we were going to get something with Deadpool in that movie, but
And
we
we
got
sure
him
did.
now. So
Like, I remember I went into... What was the was Black Widow the first one after Endgame?
well, Spider-Man: Far From Home,
It was Far From Home. It was
and then
fun.
which
And
yeah,
we
I
had-
didn't.
It was the
And then
show.
I think it. Yes, so there was
Falcon, WandaVision,
WandaVision, Falcon,
Winter Soldier, and then
Loki, and then I think we got Black Widow.
Yeah, so like those 3 shows came out, and
Because we had 4 Marvel movies at the end of 2021.
yes, yeah,
Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah. So when those first 3 shows came out, WandaVision was hype because it was the longest period of time we'd gone without a Marvel. Without an MCU thing. So everybody was like super into it, and it was exciting to see it unravel, and it was the first time we got an MCU show.
And I remember I rewatched WandaVision before Multiverse of Madness, and it held up. It wasn't...
I think it was pretty good for what it was. I think where I started to get lost was Falcon and Winter Soldier. I did not like that show.
I didn't care for that.
I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah.
I was hoping for more
I
like
liked the ground level area of it, but I don't know, it just wasn't...
I was hoping for like a buddy cop show, and it was not that. Like
Loki was great.
The Winter Soldier was barely in it, which kind of was disappointing.
I know, it was... Yeah.
I thought Loki was pretty good. And then that's when we started to get the trickle of like Black Widow and Eternals, and
what I wish they had
kind of started to go
I wish
downhill.
they had done with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where it ended, like the last title card of the show says Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like that showed Sam's character development, but they should have done enough to make it Captain America and the White Wolf. Like his whole MO, Bucky's whole MO was to strip himself of being the Winter Soldier.
And he didn't really do that.
No. Zemo was great in that show.
Yeah, he was good.
We got him dancing. We got that meme.
True.
And there's silver lining if you look for it.
What's the next show?
Don't know.
Did anybody watch Echo? Did that come out?
Came
I
out.
never watched it.
I didn't see it.
I never watched that either.
I honestly, it looked good. It didn't look bad, but I think I was just burnt out.
That's the problem. I feel like when I would have like up until Endgame, and even shortly after, I would say even a couple years after Endgame, I was a diehard Marvel fan. You know, you have to watch every single thing that comes out, good or bad. I'm there day one, movies, shows, whatever it is. But the fact that the past like 2 years I've started skipping shows and movies is not a great sign.
No.
I mean, not to say that you have to watch everything, but I feel like that's not a great sign for the way your universe is starting to look.
No, it's not.
And like, I don't want to say I don't think I'll ever do that with Star Wars, but like if the day comes where I'm starting to skip like a Star Wars show that comes out or something, or a Star Wars movie, that's real bad. That's really bad.
I forgot where Marvel died for me, and I don't know how I could have done this. Wakanda Forever was a huge piece of garbage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That movie was so bad. Like I hated every minute of that movie. Like the opening 5 minutes was cool to do like the Chadwick Boseman like essentially dying in the movie thing.
It was literally just a
The
tribute.
write-off.
But like Namor's way stronger than what they portrayed him as, and it was just a bad. Oh, I just hated it so much. You could tell it was like a COVID movie. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it didn't
honestly.
make sense.
Yeah.
Like the actors were never like close to each
And it
other.
was
in
long.
scenes. It was long,
It was borderline in 3 hours.
and then you find out he had a kid, but like that'll never turn into anything because Marvel just forgets those storylines.
Another tie-in.
And then Ironheart, just like
She was supposed to have a Disney Plus show, but they canned it, I think.
because
Or they just pushed it back.
she should have been cool, and she wasn't cool either.
it's
Like,
kind of cringy.
I don't know what they were doing with that one. That was just
Young
a
Avengers.
piece of shit that I
Well,
just
what-
couldn't.
What that was they had a Black Panther 2 planned with Chadwick Boseman. He passed away, unfortunately, and they're like, we've already invested money in this. We need to make more money, so
Yeah,
commit to the
Yeah.
money. That's what that was. We're like, we need to commit to it.
Unfortunately, that's Hollywood.
It is what it is.
and the original Black Panther obviously like shattered the box office. So like they're gonna do a second one regardless.
Well, yeah, we all knew that was
But
happening one way or
I would
another.
have preferred if they were like, you know what, we'll just bring back Michael B. Jordan and he can just be Black Panther. Like none of us would care. Like he was so good
No.
as Killmonger that you'd be like, I can accept this. Like
Or like,
you know, obviously they had to change the script and the
Yeah.
storyline.
right,
because
no one saw
Chadwick
this
Boseman-
coming.
I would have been at the time I was like, I don't know that we should recast him. Retrospect, I think maybe we should have recast him.
Now that time has gone by.
and just gone with whatever the original script would have been, or whatever the original storyline would have been. I feel like even if we didn't love the actor who portrayed him, I think we would have gotten a more solid story. And I think we would have I don't know if Namor was supposed to be the villain.
Or even like if they kept
But
or they made Shuri Black Panther, that would have been fine if it wasn't a whole movie dedicated to it. Like, have her come into an ensemble film, take the mask off. There's your whole setup right there. You don't need any more.
Yeah.
it was almost like a second origin story for Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like the first one, we got the origin story. The second one, also kind of another origin story. And it's like, I don't know that we needed
like
that.
chicken and the egg.
Yeah. Like, we already get it. Just have her put on the suit and call it a day.
Well, it's like I get why she gets it too, because like she's the sister and
Yeah,
sort
no,
of
it
thing,
makes
but,
sense.
like, what if they just like gave it to the strongest guy in the village and what's his name? M'Baku.
M'Baku,
And
yeah.
Black Panther.
I
like,
loved M'Baku.
would've been
M'Baku was
sad.
probably my
Black
favorite character.
Panther.
In that.
Like that would have been so cool.
I would have been down for that. Or like you said, unfortunately they killed Michael B. Jordan, but they could have just been like, somehow he survived.
Yeah,
brought him
Killmonger
back
comes
again or
back
something.
and he's like a good guy. Like he's in like the same body, but like his
Yeah, the
memories
only-
changed or something.
The only part of Wakanda Forever that was like neat was seeing him back there. I don't think any of us saw that coming.
Yeah, it was
No.
cool. Well, I
Um,
mean, at that point when Killmonger shows up in Black Panther, outside of Loki, he's like the best villain, and he's in one movie. Because like
yeah,
he was awesome as Killmonger.
and honestly, I think it's because he's only in the one movie.
Like
If they keep him around, they're gonna stretch him too thin.
like,
Loki is the exception to that.
yeah, like I think your big bads, like your best one is Thanos,
Mm-hmm.
and you got Loki who's back and forth, but like he's probably third.
It's like you need to have a plan set in stone from the beginning. You can't be like, okay, he did good. What else can we do with him now?
yeah,
It should be like, good, he did good. That's what we wanted. We have more for him.
Would you consider Malekith one of the top villains in the MCU?
Which
I don't
one?
even know who that is.
The villain from Dark.
Oh,
Oh, is he
Thor?
the dark elf? Oh my god, no!
I
I
was
think
like,
the fact that neither one of us knew who you
I
were
know.
talking about answers that
The
question.
best part is I had to look it up. I didn't even remember his name.
He goes
I was
down
like,
as worst villain.
I know. I was like, I want to see if they recognize his name because I didn't remember it. I had to look it up.
Or what was the weird thing in the new Ant-Man movie? MODOK?
Oh, MODOK.
That was
I-
brutal.
That was
I
bad.
did not like that.
The CGI was terrible.
That was bad.
From like a not caring perspective, I think that was entertaining.
Yeah, it's an Ant-Man movie. Like,
Right?
no
I don't
expectations,
take those seriously.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it would be entertaining if it was like a Disney XD cartoon,
Yeah,
Okay, you got me there. That's true.
like
or the
in
MODOK
in
TV
a
show.
multi-million-dollar.
I heard the MODOK show was really good.
I've
on
heard
Hulu.
it's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Like, who are the top villains? Thanos, Loki, Killmonger.
Ultron.
Ultron.
Ultron was pretty good.
Ultron was pretty good.
James Spade.
Why are villains escaping me all of a sudden?
Well,
I mean, if you think about it, though, like there wasn't that many main villains. It was just a bunch of like one-off villains and like
yeah, like there's
random one-off.
I really liked Whiplash.
Iron Man 2 is my favorite of the Iron Man trilogy.
Like Mickey Rourke as Whiplash was pretty
Oh.
cool.
What about Jan Rog,
Huh?
Is that
the dude from Captain Marvel's name is Jan Rog, I guess.
Is he one of
Jan-
the green dudes? The Skrulls?
or the
Um,
no? He was one of the other species,
He's so memorable.
the Kree. Right?
Was he
yeah, he
purple?
was. Oh my God, no, Jude Law. He was Jude Law, I think.
Nope,
Yes.
don't remember.
I don't think
Yep.
you're saying that name right. Hang on,
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster?
from Black Widow.
Oh, what about Crow from the Eternals? the weird CGI like humanoid guy that had 5 eyes or whatever.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember the weird
I didn't
monsters
even
in
know
that
he had a
movie.
name.
Like the weird. I mean, Gore the God Butcher.
He was
He's
pretty bad.
cool.
He was a cool villain. He was bad in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what did Hella wasn't terrible. She was good.
Oh, I liked the first villain in the first Doctor Strange. Mads Mikkelsen, but like I don't remember his
Oh.
name. Callisis. He
Yeah,
was kind
something
of
like that.
cool with like the crazy
Oh,
eyes.
Mamu, I've come to bargain.
Yeah, like I kind of like
Yeah.
him.
I forgot that was Mads.
Ronan from
Red Skull.
Red Skull. He, I haven't watched that first Captain America in so long.
It's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's not bad, especially compared to what we've had recently. But it's
Yeah.
The CGI towards the latter half of the movie gets a little rough.
I mean, we got Ebony Maw, that like weird psychic
Squidward.
dude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Earth is closed today. Kill Ironmonger from the first Iron Man. We had
Jeff what's his name?
Jeff Bridges.
was it Whiplash from Iron Man 2?
Yep. Mickey Rourke.
Um,
The third
I
one,
went to
like
my
the
beard.
fire guy. What's it like?
I don't even remember his name.
I went to my beard.
He takes like that drug that makes his body hot or whatever.
Mm-hmm. The fake. The fake.
Aldrich Killian, Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce.
Mhm.
Aldrich.
He was the Mandarin, not Mandarin.
Yes, the fake Mandarin.
Oh,
He was-
the Mandarin.
So he was, I guess in retrospect, now thinking of it, we had Ben Kingsley, who was the fake Mandarin, to Guy Pearce's Mandarin, who was also a fake Mandarin,
Two fake Mandarins.
to a real Mandarin. What
Oh
a
my god.
stupid thing. That's so dumb.
Crazy.
So I was just looking at the cast for Iron Man 3,
Mhm.
and I don't know why this just blew my mind. But Jenna Ortega is in Iron Man 3.
She is.
She is the vice president's daughter, the one that was missing, the amputee. She's in like half a scene. I was just looking at it, and I was like,
Huh.
I saw Jenna Ortega was in it. I was like, I don't remember her in that at all. When I clicked on it, yeah, she was like in the wheelchair for maybe a split second. That must have been one of her first roles.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good for her.
Well, we got the Sinister Six too, like Doc Ock, Electro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty good though.
Yeah.
Especially to fit that many villains into a movie, they still pulled it off pretty well.
I may have said this on here before. I really thought that they were going to round out the Sinister Six because I did not think Mysterio was dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I mean, Winter Soldier was a villain at one point.
Yeah.
There's like
Which
John-
Scarlet
arguably
Witch.
is one of the best.
Scarlet Witch was
Movies.
technically a villain.
True.
Let's see. Abomination.
I still have not seen The Incredible Hulk.
Adam Warlock was a villain for like 4 minutes.
I thought he was gonna be more exciting than he was,
He
They-
sure,
it's
yeah, he
like-
sure was not.
but then he just became a Guardian. So
I'd have to rewatch Guardians 3, but I remember after we watched it, I had like a better like what they could have done with his character. Like after he sees his mom get killed, like he wasn't fazed by that,
no.
which I feel like that could have been his turning point to make him realize he's on the wrong side. Then he could have helped them evacuate the planet that was falling or whatever.
Zemo was a villain.
Zemo.
Who else? I mean, I guess technically Justin Hammer during Iron Man.
Oh,
I
2.
like
Hammer.
I like Justin Hammer.
I wish he would come back. He came back for that one, the short, the
Yeah.
Mandarin short. That was pretty funny.
So the rumor, which is just a rumor because I don't know what it's real or not at this point with Marvel, was that Justin Hammer was supposed to be the antagonist for whatever Armor Wars thing they do with Rhodey's character.
That's just another thing we
Cool.
don't need.
No, absolutely it's not. But
But what about
Ronan
Ronan
the
Accuser?
Oh yeah. Oh, what about Hela? Hela was pretty cool.
She was Kate Blanchett
Yellow Jacket?
with the Armor Wars thing. I didn't realize how good an actor John Cheadle was until I saw him in Secret Invasion. I think he was the best part of that show.
Yeah.
He actually had some really good acting in there, and I was like, okay, I wanted to see more from this character.
Agatha Harkness.
Ego.
Mm-hmm.
Ego.
Vulture. Vulture was pretty good.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Beetlejuice.
Michael Keaton.
So,
Just
what's up?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, what about Ghost from Ant-Man and the
Hey,
Wasp?
the TV was on when I came down here.
Oh, it was on last night too.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's alright.
Hi.
Agatha Harkness. The Flag Smashers from
Sorry?
that stupid show.
Alright. Okay.
Oh my god. Don't forget about Dreykov from Black Widow.
What about Crossbones?
Oh yeah, he was a thing for like
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes.
Oh, the Grandmaster. We forgot about the Grandmaster.
Oh,
Oh, how did we forget about him?
thinking about it, he might be my favorite villain of all time in the MCU. Now that I have to put, if I had to put
Yeah.
a pin on it, Jeff Goldblum, you can't go bad. You can't go bad with him.
No.
Because I don't even think he knew what movie he was in. Like
He came back for one of the shorts too.
he did, and I feel like Disney were just like they knocked on his door and they're like, "Yo, do you want this stack of money?" And he was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
They're like, "Just show up to set on this day," and he's like, "All right, cool. I get to wear robes and slippers."
Oh,
Yeah.
we got Claw, Andy Serkis.
Oh, Claw, also in a movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Then he got killed off from Black Panther.
Pretty quickly.
He was in Age of Ultron.
Yep.
He had this cameo there. That was their Wakanda setup when Bruce couldn't pronounce it. He was like, "It's someplace in Wakanda.
Canada. Yeah, I mean they've had some cool villains, but there's been a lot of misses.
They were
aside
never. I don't think their villains were ever their really, really strong suit.
from- No.
I mean, Thanos is the best. Easy best.
Absolutely.
I mean, Thanos and Loki, but Loki.
But to be fair, Thanos was teased for 8
How
years,
long?
and Loki
Yeah.
was in like 6 fucking movies.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it makes
But
sense.
like that kind of goes back to what I said about them having a plan for those characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they
Like-
cast Galactus. Like somebody
Yeah.
has the Galactus role.
I heard.
So
I don't know. Like Galactus is supposed to be in the first whatever they do for this Fantastic Four movie.
Well, apparently Galactus can swallow planets. So
He's my favorite comic book villain.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't-
Well,
I don't know. Silver Surfers probably, or Doom.
Is Silver Surfer a villain
Yeah, I think he's
or like an anti-hero?
yeah.
Okay.
I think he's just like super cool. I don't know a lot
Yeah.
about him.
I mean he's shiny, so
Yes, this is true.
cool.
I can't believe they fucked up all of those movies.
The first one is not bad.
But they're like none of them are great. Like they've had like 3
No.
or 4 shots now, and it's like really you can't
Kinda
pull one
like-
off.
I might be bold saying this, and maybe it's just my opinion, but I feel like it's the same thing with the X-Men movies. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I watched. So I had never seen the original trilogy. I still haven't seen the newest ones, but like people I've heard people talk about how much they loved the original X-Men movies,
Mhm.
and I know people love the cartoon, and that's different.
Yeah.
But I watched the original X-Men trilogy, and I was like, I don't even know that these were great during their time. Like, they're just like, they kind of suck.
Mhm.
Granted, I know we didn't really have many superhero movies to compare them to, at least not until like Spider-Man came out or whatever.
But those hold up.
But like, I don't know. I just feel like those X-Men movies, even at the time, probably weren't that great.
Right.
First Class is really like that set of.
Yeah, I never watched those.
Those ones are good. The original ones are a little tough, and the most recent ones are a little tough.
Yeah, the original ones. It took me a while to get through those. I watched like the first one, and I was like, I don't know that I want to keep going.
Have you seen Logan?
I saw. Yeah, I've seen all the
Yeah.
Wolverines. So I saw X-Men.
Logan's like the best version of
I saw
any
X-Men
X-Men
Origins.
thing.
I saw. Was it the Wolverine?
Yeah, that one's.
And then they had Logan. Yeah, I thought the Wolverine was not great.
So you know in the Acolyte, and
Yeah.
the girl with like the white face, like kind of alien looking. That's X-23 from Logan.
Oh,
It's the same
never have
actress.
known that.
Yeah, it's the same actress. I found that out today.
that's kind of cool.
Because there's rumors that she's gonna show up in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh my god!
So
What if the bad guy in Acolyte is Hugh Jackman?
the Sith?
Oh.
It's just Wolverine.
It's just Wolverine.
Now
What
that
if it's
I can
Wolverine?
get on board with.
Yeah, see,
That would
I'm
be
okay with that.
sick. What if
Multiverse, right?
Wolverine, it's Wolverine, but instead of claws, he just has lightsabers?
What if it's Deadpool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Oh,
I
imagine
I like
go
it. We
for
should
Ryan
end on
Reynolds
the
in
high
Star
right
Wars
there.
property. That'd be crazy. Oh,
We're pushing 2 hours right now.
Yeah, we have a lot to discuss. This is our first one back in a long time,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
future ones won't be this long.
No.
Probably, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, we hit the 1 hour mark. Well, we were like just finishing our conversation about what we watched
yeah, we
in
hit
the
the
past
2 hour mark with
couple
Marvel.
months, and then we just went on to Marvel, and that's like
When are we getting
it
the
all happened.
When are we getting the Punisher movie?
I have no idea.
I've always been a big Punisher guy. I know he's simple, but like Frank Castle is just so cool, and John Bernthal is like a perfect like Punisher.
Yeah.
The show is always pretty good, but like, you know, not jump off the page good.
No.
Yeah.
But I'd like a Punisher movie. They did one.
We,
They did one like 15 years ago with Thomas Jane as the Punisher. And it's not a very good movie. Like it's fun to watch, but it's whatever. But he has like one cool line in it that I like have always remembered. And his whole family gets like murdered on an island, so that's why he has to like seek revenge. And the bad guy is John Travolta, so it's a little weird. But he almost dies on the beach, but this like random islander basically finds him and like heals him, and he's like, "What are you gonna do next?" And he's like, "I'm gonna seek revenge," basically. And the guy was like, "May God have mercy, like may God be with you." And he goes, "God's gonna sit this one out." And he like walks into the distance, and I'm like, "Yeah, you go,
That's awesome.
you go and do that."
All right.
And after that, the movie just goes downhill. But it's just one of those lines that you're like, "That's cool."
Can we say with even 50% confidence that we'll have another episode in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah,
No. I can't.
not even 50%.
Well, all right.
Andrew goes. I know Andrew has like 6
Yeah.
vacations planned.
So next Sunday is Father's Day.
Oh yeah,
And then
Yeah, Steve, you're one of those.
I guess. Yeah, I
So,
already got my
theoretically-
Father's Day present. So
we could do like a weekday.
Yep.
I'd be okay with that. But then the following Sunday I leave for Europe, so and I'll be
Figure
gone for 2.5
figure something.
weeks.
are there like better nights?
I mean, right now Sunday works for me, but
Or like better weeknights? I guess.
this week I'm pretty booked.
I'm flexible. I can make any time work as long as I'm not working until 9:30. I can
Yeah.
pretty much make any night work.
No, I'm just thinking because like sometimes on Sundays it's just like we make plans and they run later in the day, and I'm
Mhm.
always like, shit, like we're still out, and it's like
Yeah, it happens to
6:45.
all of us.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like at 6:30 we were still at Canopy Lake, and because we did like water rides and stuff, I didn't have my phone on me. Like we had a backpack, so I had no idea. It was like a casino. I had no idea what time it was all day, and then Kate was like, "We should probably see what time it is," and then all of a sudden the loudspeaker went off and was like, "Ladies and
Park is
gentlemen,
closing.
Canopy Lake will be closing in 30 minutes." And we were like, "Holy shit, it's late!" Like. And she like looked at her phone and she's like, "It's 6:30." And I was like, "It's 6:30? I thought that was like 4:30." She's like, "It's 6:30." So that's when I texted and was like, "I don't think I'm gonna make 7. Canopy
That's
Lake
all
is
right.
like
No.
an hour and a half from our house."
Yeah, tomorrow's my last full day of school,
Nice.
and I have my prep first, so I was like, I can spare one night.
Yeah,
So
we'll figure
so
it out.
Yeah, the only
I'll wrap
only
up the
night that I
episode
can't
and
do
then-
is Mondays because I work overnights on Mondays.
Okay.
So
Um,
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Sundays. We're always doing something on Saturday. So
But none of this matters to our listeners.
nope, they'll just hear
So-
us next time.
The point is, we'll be back at some point,
Yes. See you in 3 months.
possibly.
Well, thank y'all for listening to this episode. Check out our vlog. Check out our previous episodes.
Wait, what's your
Check-
first vacation?
So I'm doing a European road trip. So
Aren't
I'm
you going on like
to...
aren't you going to Italy when Deadpool comes out?
No, it's Alaska.
Oh, cool. Gotcha. I'll just be here in New Hampshire the whole time.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Deadpool will come out while I'm on the cruise. So there's no hope for me seeing it then.
Are you gonna just throw your phone off the boat?
I'm heavily considering it. If you guys don't hear from me, it's nothing personal.
It's okay, Steve. We have to
no,
go
it's
see
not.
that, though,
It's
right?
not.
No, that's like a day one
Oh yeah, no, please.
IMAX.
Like we are seeing that movie, right?
Yeah, day one IMAX. Like
Yeah, it's happening.
that's like
Just-
a Thursday. That's not even Friday. That's like Thursday night.
Just save me a popcorn bucket.
We'll do our best.
Yeah,
I'll talk to Chris
We'll do what we
Lurkin
can.
about that.
Yeah.
that's
All right.
that's probably the next day one I have to see.
Yeah.
Also, before we go, shameless plug. I think it's a good time to announce that I did start a gaming channel. It's called Beyond the Disc Gaming. It's just kind of me randomly recording the things that I'm playing anyways, just like us. We're going to talk movies, might as well record it. It's me just playing games, figured might as well record it and upload it. I'll put the link in the description of this video, so if anybody wants to check it out, that's where it'll be.
All right. And on that note, I think we're gonna sign off.
Bye.
All right. Thank y'all for listening.
See ya.